Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we got a lot to cover. You know, what President Trump is doing is one of the most amazing strategies that has ever been done by not just the Republican Party, but any political party, and I want to cover it on the program. Oh, man, let me play this clip. This is the president late last week in the Oval Office talking about ridding D.C. of crime. Listen.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this, and it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying,
right.
Please, President Trump, come to Chicago.
Yeah. So, you know, this is so amazing. The crime has been virtually stopped in Washington, D.C., right? The violent crime is virtually non-existent. In some instances, it's over 83% down. They have not had a murder in I don't know how long now, over a week. This is unheard of. And I'm watching videos of local D.C. residents, not these politicians. I'm talking about the local D.C. residents. I'm watching local D.C. residents that are putting videos up on social media, X mostly, because that's where I watch. And they're so excited that they can walk the streets again. I saw a guy early this morning who was wearing a watch covered in diamonds. I mean, I don't know how much that watch cost or where he got the money for it. But he's like, I can walk around with this on my wrist now, and I got nothing to worry about. And President Trump did that. He has rid one of the most high-crime cities in our nation, in this instance, our nation's capital. He's rid it of violent crime. They have an overwhelming police presence, which includes, obviously, the local Washington, D.C. police, as well as activating federal agents and the National Guard. And, you know, one of the things that's totally amazed me about everything that's happening in Washington, D.C. so far as ending the crime there is that there hasn't been a lot of resistance by the thugs, by the criminals, by these violent monsters against the police, federal agents, or National Guard. And I was expecting that. And no, because they're cowards. You know, they've been running free doing crime for so long. They had no fear, for good reason, that things weren't going to be enforced. They weren't going to be arrested. Nobody was going to come looking for them. Nobody was going to do anything to stop it. So they've been out there with this false sense of bravery. They're not really brave because they had no fear of any type of reprisals. And just the overwhelming law enforcement presence from the National Guard on down to the local municipal Washington, D.C. police has been enough to stop crime throughout the entire city, in particular the most violent of crimes, right? The carjackings and assaults and things. And that's amazing. And President Trump just said he's going to take that to other cities. It was reported yesterday that they are going to the White House, deploy the National Guard to 19 other cities. But President Trump is targeting Chicago next. And what we've been seeing all of our lives are endless stories about crime in these Democrat-run blue cities. Everyone knows what the problem is, but no one has done anything about it. Everyone's talked about, oh, that crime in Chicago, it's so terrible. That crime in D.C., it's god-awful. And no one has done anything about it until Trump. And it's not like they haven't had the money to do it. These cities have unlimited financial resources. But if you listen to what the Democrats are saying, and during the program today, you're going to hear from a lot of these Democrat politicians. I'll play some of the audio on the program as it goes on. But what you're hearing from Democrats is they're saying that what President Trump is doing is unconstitutional. What does that mean? Unconstitutional? What does that mean? Unconstitutional. Right? are they saying that criminals, in particular, what we're talking about mostly is violent criminals, that criminals and violent criminals somehow have some constitutional guarantee to do crime? What are they saying? And the Democrats have openly become a political party advocating for the rights of criminals to go out and commit their crimes. Never thought I'd see it. I mean, you couldn't have predicted this because what the Democrats are doing, the reaction to this is so stupid. It's hard to believe it's even real, but it is. And not only are they advocating in favor of criminals' constitutional rights to go out and do the crime, you can sense the anger that President Trump is cleaning up the crime. Now, some of it is your general Trump derangement syndrome because they hate Trump. They can't go along with anything Trump is doing, even when it's universally good, which is stopping crime, violent crime from happening. It's a universally good thing unless you're a criminal, right? But the Trump derangement syndrome has interfered with them having any common sense, and they're out there advocating for something that's as dumb and as outrageous as you possibly could be advocating for. They're advocating for criminals' rights to do crime. It's crazy. It's crazy. But President Trump has a big strategy here, and this is the brilliant strategy he has. The big problems are in blue cities. Even there's blue cities in red states, right? Like here in Florida. You know, you've got Jacksonville, Florida, which is a high crime city. Orlando, Florida, is a high crime city. These are blue cities in this red state. So there's a lot of cities around, but President Trump is going to Chicago and other blue cities and blue states, like he's done in Washington, D.C., and what's he going to do? Not only is he going to rid them of crime, the residents, as we're seeing in D.C., overwhelmingly support living in safe cities, and he's going to turn the residents, the voters, the public of these cities, not the politicians, not the Democrat politicians, not all these DEI wokesters. He's going to turn the people that live in these cities, the voters, into Republicans. He's going to magnetize them. When he rids a city of crime, all of a sudden, it's going to be red-pilled, a red-pilling of America's blue cities. And what President Trump is doing is the right thing to do. No one's just had the guts to do it. He talked about doing this in his first term, but things happened and he got bogged down. You guys know about all that. And these blue cities are going to become formerly blue cities. And you go to a state like Illinois, and even the state of New York, you go to these states with the large blue high crime cities, the states outside of that city are Republican. Illinois is a very Republican state outside of Cook County, outside of Chicago. So you rid Chicago of crime like you've done in D.C., which is something that people have thought was impossible, a waste of time, why even bother, and he's doing it. And then all of a sudden, you've got this MAGA voting bloc in a formerly blue Democrat stronghold. This is part of the midterm election strategy of President Trump as well, and it's a pretty darn good one. And it will work, and it'll work, but it's more than just a midterm election strategy. It's the right thing to do. You know, the first role that a government has, no matter where it is to keep its citizens safe, whether it's the federal government or your local government. Their main, number one, first priority is keeping the citizens that they govern safe. And all of the blue cities not only have failed in it, when President Trump and this overwhelming police presence and everything are ending crime, look what their attitude is. How dare you end crime in our city? How dare you violate the constitutional guarantees of these thugs to do crime? Now, if you'd like to call in about this, I certainly would like to hear your thoughts. The number is toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. So what are the Democrats thinking? You know, President Clinton, he's a creep, he's a pervert, he's got a lot of dysfunction, but he was a very smart president. He probably still is a smart man. And in 1994, you had the Republican Revolution led by Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich had this thing called the Contract for America. And the Republicans in 1994 took over control of the House and the Senate. And it was the first time the Republicans had controlled both houses at the same time for, was it 30 years or 40 years at the time? So what the Contract for America was talking about, I don't remember all of it. Welfare to work was the biggest one. But there were other things there, too. It was a new Republican Party platform. It was incredibly popular. And Bill Clinton was up for re-election in 1996. So what he did, as opposed to rejecting and advocating against these very popular ideas in the Contract for America, he embraced them and made that his platform when he ran for re-election in 1996, and he rode that to victory. These Democrats today, with their Trump derangement syndrome, can't think clearly enough to do that. Stopping crime, stopping American citizens from becoming crime victims is a universally nonpartisan position that the Democrats have found a way to make partisan. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from California.
Yeah, Jeff.
How's it going, man?
It's going.
Are we on?
I am, and you are for now.
What are we going to talk about here?
Watch the stream and you'll learn. All right, take care. Yeah. So, there's not a lot of things that politicians talk about that are nonpartisan. But stopping crime from happening, stopping people from being victimized is a universally nonpartisan issue, isn't it? Absolutely it is. But the Democrats never fail. So let's get back to this. So here's the president talking about D.C. and Chicago.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one.
Really?
But they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago.
Right.
Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York, and we're going to help with. And I think a lot of these people that you see on television, they are, including the people in this audience, they'll say bad things about me, and then they'll say, thank God he's here, because half of them got mugged, and they don't want to get mugged again. But they work for stupid people that are radical left, and they're made to do things and say things that they don't want to be saying. But the people right here are all happy because you're not going to be mugged in Washington, D.C. anymore.
That's right. I was watching someone the other day. They had been mugged, and their phone in D.C. And one of the big things is they want your phone. And this one particular person said, they made me unlock my phone. Oh, my goodness. Think about that. You have everything on your phone, right? Your banking. So what happens? They mug you, they've got your phone, and they've got your bank account. How many of you, now I don't have my bank account on my phone, my wife handles the banking, but I'm unusual. I'm unusual. How many of you have your banking on your phone? Or maybe you've got, a crypto wallet on your phone, right? You're on Coinbase, you got your crypto. Exactly. So what happens? They mug you. Next thing you know, or your investment account, your stocks. You have instant access to that, and they have it on your phone. So what just happens? They've mugged you. All they really want is your phone. They've made you unlock your phone. So what happens? They've just emptied out your bank account. They've just emptied out your crypto wallet. They've just emptied out your investment account and whatever else you have, and they've sent it to some cash app somewhere. That's it. You don't think these guys are that organized? Of course they are. These are not your average school muggers, and that has stopped. That's really scary to me. I couldn't imagine. I mean, if you think about it, you have everything on your phone, and not only that, they take the phone. So they make you unlock it. they're transferring everything to whatever, Cash App or whatever off to somebody, and then that money's gone, right? But what do they have? They have all your private information for you and your entire family. They know where you live and where your relatives live. So what are you going to do? A lot of people never report those crimes because they're afraid that people will come to their house or the house of their family members. That's what's been going on, not just in D.C., nationwide. I'm thinking about getting one of those. I was looking about this because, I wanted to do some traveling. I'm thinking about getting one of those minimalist phones that don't have all these things on them. I mean, I have some crypto. Do you have do you have a crypto account? Do you have the app on your phone? You get mugged in DC, your crypto's gone. You've just transferred it to the mugger. That's right. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Brian here.
Yep. What's up?
How's it going? You seem to be talking about one of the oldest conversations we've had in political circles is how much liberty are you willing to give up for safety? It's one of the oldest questions we've been asking it since 9/11, when we started doing library stuff and the books. So how much liberty are you willing to give up for safety?
Well, as opposed to talking in vague generalities like you're in some law school class, let's talk about the real. Excuse me. Calm down. Excuse me. Calm down for a second. You can ask the question over and over again. It doesn't matter. So, as opposed to talking about it in a vague generality, let's talk about what you asked in a real-world application. So in Washington, D.C., we have an overwhelming police presence of not just local police, but federal agents and the National Guard, who has lost, other than the criminals who are not murdering and carjacking and mugging and such, who's lost liberty and rights in D.C.?
The elected officials in the areas that are not inviting you in. The federal government just coming in is
no. That you're talking about D.C. is a federal city. No, we're talking about the citizens. You said how much?
They've had home rule for how long?
They don't have home rule. They don't have home rule. You said how much liberty are you willing to give? I'm talking about the citizens of D.C. What liberties have the citizens of D.C. had taken away from them?
Well, if the elected officials of D.C. have had their liberty taken away, the citizens have. The citizens are the ones that put them there.
No, D.C.
Are not elected officials representatives for us?
You like to ask questions. It's an interesting attempt that you have at debate. It's a very sad way to debate.
Really
you ask the second question.
Simple.
You ask questions over and over. Excuse me, you're on hold. You ask questions over and over again, and then you start to ask them louder with some inflections here and there to make it sound as if you've made a point. Okay? The number one job of... Oh, he hung up, by the way. He hung up. The number one job of any government, city, county, state, or federal, their number one first priority is to protect its citizens. Okay? To protect its citizens. The government of Washington, D.C., which does not have home rule, by the way, the local city government of Washington, D.C. has failed in their, and by the way, that caller hung up. I did not hang up on him. They have failed in their number one duty as a local government, to protect their citizens. They do not have a right to not protect their citizens. Now, if you are a Medicare recipient or will be turning 65 soon, call Chapter. Chapter covers all 50 states. So no matter what state you're in, Chapter can help you with your Medicare. Give them a call. When you call Chapter, by the way, the number is in the description of the video. It's also on your screen there. When you call Chapter, you're going to get a real person on the phone. They'll answer, a real person, a real agent. And it costs you nothing. It is completely free help. There are no catches, no strings, nothing. They'll answer all your Medicare questions, and they'll also review your policy to make sure it's the right one. Did you know there are millions of seniors who are not receiving the Medicare benefits that they're entitled to? You may be one of them. Chapter will find out for you during that brief phone call. The average chapter client saves over $1,100 a year on their annual premiums. You can save money as well for free, cost you nothing. Here's the number, 805-754-3033. And remember, no matter which state you're in, they can help, even D.C., which is not a state, but it's part of the United States of America. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. And again, the number is in the description of the video. You heard from the liberal caller there. How much liberty are you willing to give up? See, this is the thing. If you look at what's happened in D.C., it's happened in a completely different way than any of us would have imagined. And that way is this. There's been really no resistance to law enforcement other than that one white guy from the Justice Department, that liberal lunatic that threw the subway sub at the federal agents and got arrested. Okay, a Justice Department lawyer who's been fired. Other than that guy, there's been no resistance. For people to lose liberty in Washington, D.C., or any city that President Trump uses this great model from D.C., and whether it's Chicago or Miami or Orlando or St. Louis or L.A., okay, you only lose liberty if they come in and arrest you who's done no crime. Or they arrest you and you don't get Mirandized, or they beat you up for no reason, something like that. Having police, having a law enforcement presence is not a loss of liberty. In fact, it's the opposite. President Trump is giving the law-abiding citizens of Washington, D.C. more liberty because they're free to walk the streets without being victimized by these criminals. But you hear what the liberals, like the guy that called and hung up, didn't you like that? He asked the same question over and over again, louder each time with more inflections, and he thinks he's some brilliant scholar who's made some good points. Guy's short a few brain cells there. I mean, I haven't heard of any civil rights violations. In fact, where's the ACLU on this? Have you seen the ACLU in the streets? The Democrats, the American left, have somehow created this delusion in their Trump derangement syndrome suffering brains that criminals have a constitutional guarantee to do crime. When you're a public official and you don't do your job, you're relieved of that job. The crime in these cities is a national emergency, and the President of the United States has a right to declare a national emergency anywhere there is one in the United States. It could be New Orleans, it could be Chicago, it could be D.C., it could be New York City. It could even be in a small town somewhere where there's a lot of crime as well. But we're going to see these big blue cities targeted first. And, another thing that I've noticed with the Democrats, with the left, is there's a lot of fear with them, isn't there? There's a lot of fear with the Democrats that people will not be victimized. How long has it been in D.C. without a murder now? It's been over a week. And people are like, wow, it's amazing. So what does that say? There are people, innocent people, who have not been killed this week in D.C. because of President Trump. And what's the Democrat liberal response? Well, you heard it on the phone. Anger. They're pissed. How dare you stop these criminals from doing what it is they do? What happened to the Democrats? The Democrats have always been wrong on the issues, okay? There's never been a time when the Democrats have been right on the issues. But what's happened to them now where they have become advocates for the rights of violent criminals to do crime? This is a whole new thing. And it's not even me being sarcastic. They are literally advocating for criminals as if they have some constitutional guarantee to do crime. And I've got news for you. They don't. And this whole phase that we're in with the Democrats is so insane, it's hard for me to believe it's even real. But it is. And it goes on and on and on. Here's an example. This is MSNBC. This is Democrat Congressman Ro Khanna.
In terms of Democrats standing up, should your Senate colleagues hold the government funding, hold their votes back on government funding in a couple of weeks in order to pull something from Republicans, whether that is getting the National Guard out of Washington, D.C., less weaponization of the DOJ? Should they be holding back their votes on the funding?
Is this even a question? Of course we should. Did we not learn our lesson when we...
So Ro Khanna here, and I don't know if this guy, what his preferred pronouns are or anything, but it looks like a ladies' jacket. Maybe Joy Reid left that behind. What he's talking about here is they want to pull the funding because criminals can't go out and commit crimes. Rape, steal, kill, carjack, breaking and entering. And he wants to cut funding so that the criminals can get back to business.
Weaponization of the DOJ. Should they be holding back their votes on the funding?
Is this even a question? Of course we should. Did we not learn our lesson when we acquiesced early on in the administration? Look, we didn't start off on a good foot. We had Democrats vote for Lake and Riley that has allowed for deportation without due process.
Oh, my goodness.
We had Democrats vote for capitulation. We need to stand our ground.
Congress.
We need to stand our ground. This is a sitting member of the United States House of Representatives. When he says we need to stand our ground, he's saying stand our ground for violent criminals' rights to do crime. You know, the Democrats, for years have been advocating for illegals to be in this country illegally and set up a life and live off the government for the rest of their lives. Now they're openly advocating for the rights of America's most violent criminals to take, these criminals, what I view them as are domestic terrorists, don't you? They're terrorizing the people that live in these cities. And the Democrats are saying that these domestic terrorists have a right to terrorize. What has happened to the Democrat Party? And it's something that they've done in unison. Here's the mayor of Chicago. The president has said they're coming to Chicago next.
What the president is claiming that he wants troops to do, they don't even have the authority to do it. They have no arresting powers.
The mayor responding to President Donald Trump, who said he'll be expanding National Guard deployments to cities other than Washington.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this.
The president's Oval Office comments come as Chicago police data shows overall crime since the first of the year is down 13% compared to the same period last year, and violent crime is down 23%.
Oh, now, isn't this interesting? Just like D.C., now all of a sudden crime's down in these big cities. And it's as if, which we know they're cooking the crime stats, but it's as if there's a certain level of violent crime that the citizens are expected to absorb by these Democrats.
I think he wants to provoke violence. Because if he can provoke violence, then it's going to be martial law.
Turning the federal military on American citizens is a sign of authoritarianism.
The president claiming many in Chicago want the Guard.
Screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one. But they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago.
That's right.
Thank you, President Donald Trump, for hearing us.
Zoe Lee and Daniel Carter Walters founded the conservative group Chicago Flips Red and says despite CPD's numbers, many don't feel safe.
And if the Democrat Party, only thing they can do to help us is tell us crime is down, then hey, we welcome the National Guard.
What the president...
So did I tell you? So what President Trump is doing is he's turning these blue cities red is what this is going to result in. Perfect strategy for the midterms. Let's see here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Kevin. I'm calling from New York.
Okay. Yes, you called me.
I just joined the live a couple minutes ago. Can't view it at the same time, so
yeah.
Why don't you start with a question for me first?
Well, as long as it's on topic.
Of course.
Ask. I'm not promising to answer, but you can ask.
No. I'm asking. I want you to ask me a question on the topic that you were talking about the crime rate.
No. Why? Who are you? Who are you? No, I'm not here to interview you. Who are you? Some guy from New York? You got an opinion? Share it. But I'm not here to just randomly ask questions of people off the street that I know nothing about. What's the matter with you? You were watching the show. So you must have an opinion.
But I thought
you don't have an opinion.
Well, opinions.
Oh my
opinions do not necessarily always matter.
Sure they do. Sure they do.
Okay, so let's start here, where you say that they are cooking the crime rates, cooking the books over in D.C.
Yep.
But what I had just said in the chat is, you feel that most of the crime is coming from the people who are illegals coming in, which I understand. Every person, doesn't matter who they are, if they're white, black, Mexican, wherever they come from, have their demographic of crime rate. Okay? So what I want to ask you is, what would you say if there was these white people coming in, people who were Americans committing crime, people who could have been Americans who you think were just, in general.
Okay. All right, let me answer your bizarre comment. First of all, the people that we're talking about in D.C. and in Chicago that are being rounded up, they are. I've referred to them as domestic terrorists. These criminals are domestic terrorists. They're Americans. They're American criminals we're talking about here that we're rounding up in D.C. There have been some illegals picked up, but most of the arrests have been of American criminals. And the same will be true in Chicago. So we're not talking about the illegals. Now, if you want to talk about crime, among the illegals, they're all criminals. They have a 100% crime rate. But that's not who we're talking about in D.C. and Chicago.
Okay, so to keep on topic with D.C. and Chicago, then what do you have to say about the fact that I have seen, many people have seen, that the big police presence with the Secret Service and Border Patrol and everyone who's coming to D.C. upon Trump's orders are only seen in basically high-profile areas, the train station, Capitol monuments, tourism areas, and they're not actually going to the real parts.
No, in fact, that's not true. They started in the train station is a high crime area that they've cleaned up, okay? And they started in the tourist areas for a very good reason. Why do you think they start? But then they're moving out to the outer neighborhoods and the suburbs and in the ghettos and stuff. Why do you think they started in the tourist areas?
Well, because they're high population areas. There are more vulnerable people coming there.
The muggers, the people that are doing the crime, they go to rob, they go to mug people that got money. So they go to the tourist areas to do their crime first. That's the highest crime areas.
In any place you are, in any high tourism place.
But they have moved out of. They have been spread. They've started in that area, and then they've been spreading out like an advancing army for the past however many days they've been in D.C.
Because I've been.
Now you support this, right? You support what Trump's doing, right? Ridding D.C. of crime. You support ridding our streets of criminals, correct?
I don't support political agendas, but I support, yes, getting rid of crime and
okay. So you support what President Trump is doing in D.C. then? That's great, and he'll do the same in Chicago, which is a good thing.
But what do you say that it's more of a political agenda versus actually trying to keep people safe?
Well, from Trump's viewpoint, it's not. From Trump's viewpoint, it's not political. From the Democrats' viewpoint, it is. Okay, they're making it political. President Trump believes that all Americans have a right to be safe when they walk the streets and not be victims of crime. The Democrats, what they're doing is advocating for what they say is a constitutional right for criminals to do crime.
Okay, so wait, for just a moment, just to digress, I don't want to get off topic for too long, but so when you say what is Trump doing versus Democrats could be a whole general amount of people. That's just people who
the people we're seeing in the people we're seeing in the news. Okay, listen,
are you
I'm
saying
running
that Trump represents the entire population, or
yes,
supports a
yes,
political agenda?
Donald Trump represents the entire law-abiding population of the United States. That is correct. He is the president of us all. He is your president, my president, and the president of the United States. Listen, I got to run, but I got to run. But I appreciate the call. We're coming up on the transition to the radio station, so we got to be a little careful when we get to that. Now, those of you that are new to my stream here, to my program, make sure you subscribe. And if you could all like the video, and those of you that have been watching me for some time, I've been coming on earlier. I've been expanding the length of the program, and today is one of those days. But we get to the transition of what's just online to the radio, and I got to be a little careful when we get to that transition because they could accidentally turn us on the radio. It could happen. It could happen. So we got to be a little careful what we're doing in those hours. But you hear what the callers, and by the way, if you want to call in, please do. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take more calls after we come live on the radio in a couple of minutes. But if you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And if you'd like to support my channel and content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the episode to my Patreon page. And when you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to a lot of exclusive content, commercial-free editions of my podcast. And I put a lot of exclusive content up there, as does my wife, that is posted nowhere. As an example, yesterday I went undercover at a local Cracker Barrel to see what was going on after all that's happened. And I made a video that is on my undercover visit to the local Cracker Barrel that is available only to Patreon supporters. So if you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to all kinds of exclusive things like that. The link to my Patreon page is in the description of the video, or you can go directly to the web address, which is patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow. Patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow. We will be live on the air in about 2 minutes. Okay. The link's in the description to my Patreon page, but it's patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow. And if you are a Patreon supporter, make sure you go and check out my visit to Cracker Barrel yesterday. And I'm going to do a running series on those and find out what's going on over there. And we found out a little bit yesterday. So check that video out. All right, we've got about 2 minutes, and we will be live, and we got a lot to cover on the program. We're going to continue to talk about this. I'm going to bring up some stuff in the beginning about Alligator Alcatraz, and then I'm going to get back to what's going on with the president in Chicago. And again, if you're on hold, hang in there. Okay, so we got about, let's see here, about 90 seconds, and we'll be live on the radio. Yeah, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. We've had some good calls so far today, but you've heard from the liberals that have called me already on the show. They are obsessed with supporting the rights of criminals to do crime. Who argues against that? You know, these governments in these blue cities have not done their duty of protecting their citizens. And President Trump is the president of all Americans. So if he declares an emergency and he's got to move in, he's got to do it. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take some calls after the show starts. We've got less than a minute, and we'll be live on the air. You guys like me coming on early like I've been doing? I did it Thursday and Friday. This is the third day. And I'm going to continue to do that. Make sure you subscribe if you are new. And if you could like the video and share the video on all your socials, that'd be super cool too. All right, stand by. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. Happy MAGA Monday morning. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio, and this, without question, is where MAGA comes to talk. We've got so much to cover. Only when Trump is president is there big news over the weekends, right? Right? I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, there's just so much news over the weekend, and we're going to talk about all of it on the program today and take your calls. There's already people on hold. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to start with what's going on with the crime, and we've had over a week with no murders in D.C., and apparently that's an unusual thing. So think about this. There are people alive in Washington, D.C. because Donald Trump saved their lives this week. They would have been dead if he had not moved in the National Guard, sent in the federal agents, and federalized the D.C. police force under Pam Bondi. Think about that. There are citizens of Washington, D.C. who are alive today by all accounts because of what Donald Trump has done. And not only is the crime, the violent crime has been wiped away, have you noticed there haven't been any confrontations between police, federal agents, or the soldiers and the criminal thugs in D.C.? That really surprised me because these criminals are strapped. They're armed. And the only resistance, the only attack I've seen was over a week ago, and it was that guy that threw, the white guy that was the Justice Department lawyer that threw the Subway sandwich at the one federal agent and ran away like a girl, and then they got him and arrested him. But the criminals, they've stopped doing crime. They've stopped doing crime. And look at what the Democrat reaction has been. The Democrat reaction has been against this. The Democrat reaction from day one, even when we've seen that it's worked over a week into it now, the Democrat reaction, not only are they arguing against it, they're angry. They're visibly angry when you see them talk that President Trump has rid D.C. of crime by over 80%. The violent crime has been totally wiped away. And as the forces that he's put there start to spread out into the other neighborhoods and the suburbs, every day even more crime is stopped before it even begins. There have been hundreds of arrests, but there have not been a bunch of shootouts. I was expecting shootouts and things like this. Thankfully, there have not been. And you can see that the Democrats, they've moved beyond just saying it's wrong. They're angry that he has stopped the crime in D.C. So President Trump, it was announced out of the White House that the president is going to send the National Guard into 19 American cities. President Trump said Chicago's next. Let me share this with you. This is the president in the White House last week. Standing next to the president is J.D. Vance.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Mm-hmm. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York, and we're going to help with, and I think a lot of these people that you see on television, they are, including the people in this audience, they'll say bad things about me, and then they'll say, thank God he's here, because half of them got mugged, and they don't want to get mugged again. But they work for stupid people that are radical left, and they're made to do things and say things that they don't want to be saying. But the people right here are all happy because you're not going to be mugged in Washington, D.C. anymore.
Yeah, and he's going to move to Chicago. And this is what you have to understand. All government, whether it's your city, county, state, or federal government, their number one responsibility is keeping the citizens that they govern safe from criminals. And I'm hearing a lot of, if you're on hold, stand by. We will get to calls in a bit. What I'm hearing from liberals, they just throw out talking points. They don't even know. They're like a parrot that learns how to mimic some sounds. And you think the parrots can't talk. They could just mimic sounds that they hear. So basically we got from liberals, it's poly want a cracker, unconstitutional. Really? This is interesting to me because when I hear Democrats, when I hear these elected idiots in the Democrat Party, are they saying that criminals have a constitutional right to rape, murder, carjack, murder? What are they saying? Whose constitutional rights are being violated? And they're getting angry now because President Trump, he's shown that it works. There's been very little resistance, no shootouts in D.C., which is amazing. And we're going to see when he moves into other cities, it's a similar thing. Now, Chicago's next. And people say, well, he's violating these local governments. The local governments have failed. And when what these criminals are, they're American criminals. We're not talking about the illegals here. We're talking about American criminals. The way that I view them, and I think the American people view them, and the president views them, these criminals are domestic terrorists, like Tim McVeigh and others. Domestic terrorists. And America's blue cities have been taken over by domestic terrorists that are victimizing everyone all over the place. And one of the reasons they're doing it is because they have no fear of being arrested, no fear of bail, no fear of anything. In fact, in many instances, law enforcement has been told to do nothing. Well, those days are over. Those days are over. And what President Trump is doing is so amazing on a level that people haven't figured out yet. Now, the crime in these blue cities has been one of the most talked about issues for as long as I can remember. Everyone talks about it, but no one's done anything about it until President Trump. And the model, the pilot program, is in the District of Columbia, and it's worked with incredible amounts of success. So Chicago's next, the president says, and there's other blue cities. And there's blue cities in red states, and they're just because there's crime in a Republican state or city doesn't mean it's not going to be stopped either. But what's happening? He's targeting these blue cities. And the residents of these cities are praising Trump for being able to live in a crime-free place now, where they were afraid to go out. So what's happening? The citizens of these blue cities, now that they are safe, are being red-pilled, magatized. They're becoming Trump supporters. And what Trump is doing, he's going to turn the voting... I'm not talking about the Democrat officials and the DEI hires at all the police departments and such. I'm talking about the residents that are afraid to go outside with their families for fear of being robbed, raped, killed, shot, carjacked. Okay? He's turning them into Republicans. This also has the impact of assuring Republican victory in the midterms. It's not the goal of it. It's not why he's doing it. But a result of what he's doing is to give us Republican midterm victories. And the Democrats know this. This is one of the reasons they're having meltdowns. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. After the break, I'll go to the phones. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Do you or someone you know or love suffer from neuropathy? Holy smokes. If you have neuropathy, or your spouse or dad or mom have it, or anyone you know more than I do because you're living with them. It's living torture. People that have neuropathy are bedridden. They're all doped up because they're suffering so much. The symptoms are just god-awful. Steve describes it as making life unbearable when he had all these symptoms. The numbness, the pain, the burning, the tingling in the hands and feet, the dizziness, the falling down all the time, the feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet, no feeling at all. Well, Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy, a treatment that works, and a treatment that lasts. Steve had neuropathy so bad he couldn't get out of the house. Just over 3 years ago, he went over to Lighthouse Medical. They treated him. They rid him of his neuropathy. And here we are 3 years later, and it hasn't returned. Give them a call. They can help you no matter where you're located. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. If you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And I will go to the phones when we get back. We have one opening on the board. Okay. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, guys. So now, listen. Let me tell you about Chapter. If you are a Medicare recipient, no matter what state you are in or the District of Columbia, give Chapter a call. When you call this number, you're going to get a real person on the line, a real insurance agent. They're going to answer all your Medicare questions for free. There's no catches with that. It's completely free. They'll review your policy for you. Make sure you got the right policy and you're not paying too much. You know, millions of seniors are missing out on Medicare benefits that they're entitled to. Chapter will find out. The average Chapter client saves $1,100 a year, even more, off their Medicare. They'll review your policy to make sure you're not paying too much, and the help is always free. The number is in the description of the video, but it's also on your screen, 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033 for Chapter. Give them a call. They'll answer all your questions. It's completely free. You'll be very glad you did. All right? And I'd appreciate that. We'll be back in 2 minutes. And if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go right to the phones when we get back. I started the show about 40 minutes early today. We've already been taking calls. We've heard from pro-crime liberals already on the line. I mean, do you guys hear yourselves? I mean, who would advocate in favor of crime? I just don't get it. Why would you be advocating for crime? That just doesn't make sense to me. It's very bizarre. Less than 90 seconds and we'll be back. I don't know, maybe these are drug users who are worried that they'll find their drugs. I don't know. I know the Democrat officials are in a panic because people will now expect them to keep them safe from criminals, and they don't even know how to do it if they wanted to. Remember the Democrats were advocating to give felons the right to vote? Remember that? Now we know why. Exactly. $30 seconds. And we'll be back. If you're on hold, hang in there. It is bizarre. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. There's one opening on our board at 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And, of course, we're talking about President Trump's midterm election strategy of making Americans in blue cities safe from the most violent American criminals out there. All right, let's go to the phones. Hold on, let me answer all these lines. My phones are ringing off the hook. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, hello. My name's Adrian.
Yeah, speak up, Adrian. Speak up a little bit. Yep, what's on your mind, Adrian?
Yes, can you hear me, man?
I can hear you, man.
Yeah, man. I was just contacting you. Yes. My name's Adrian, and I'm calling from Texas.
Okay, Adrian in Texas. What's on your mind?
Yes, man. And I see you. Like, I like your message. Like, I really like what your delivery. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Yeah, like with Trump and everything.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay, so.
Listen, you got to talk into the phone. I'm sure you've got to talk. You keep moving your mouth away from the phone.
Okay.
I know
you hear me better now?
I can hear you better. I'm sure you're not. You're used to texting and DMing and not actually talking into the phone.
No. I'm a Gen Z, man. It's just a hardware flaw.
Okay, go ahead.
Could you hear me better now?
Yeah. Okay. So you were complimenting. You like my style. You're calling from Texas. Your name's Adrian. Okay, what's on your mind?
Yes. So I don't like this consistent cliche reinforcement of religion.
What are you talking about? What do you mean enforcement? Who's enforcing religion on you?
Yes, I mean I do love
No. You said you don't like this enforcement of religion. Who is enforcing religion upon you?
Yes, I'm talking about with Charlie Kirk and that, right?
Charlie Kirk is enforcing religion on you?
I respect
hold on. Slow down for a second. Charlie Kirk is enforcing religion on you? I was not aware that he had powers like that.
No, upon the media, and I respect that, and I respect the House giving the youth the structure of it.
My goodness.
Because at the end of the day, we're fucking lost.
Okay, there we go. First dump of the week. I knew it was coming with that caller. First dump of the week, Mike. And I knew it was coming. I just thought we'd get it out of the way early. If you're on hold, stand by as we wait for the delay to re-engage. Did you hear the accent? I knew from the moment. See, the reason that he was having a hard time with the phone is he knew what he was going to say, so he wanted to hear himself say it. Online when he said it on the air, so he didn't have the phone up to him. He had his ear up to the speaker, whatever device he was listening on. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so President Trump's ridding us of crime. This is Democrat Congressman Ro Khanna on MSNBC advocating for criminals. Listen.
In terms of Democrats standing up, should your Senate colleagues hold the government funding, hold their votes back on government funding in a couple of weeks in order to pull something from Republicans, whether that is getting the National Guard out of Washington, D.C., less weaponization of the DOJ? Should they be holding back their votes on the funding?
Is this even a question? Of course we should. Did we not learn our lesson when we acquiesced early on in the administration? Look, we didn't start off on a good foot. We had Democrats vote for Lake and Riley that has allowed for deportation without due process. We had Democrats vote for capitulation.
Yeah, advocate. Did you already said? Listen, I'm going to rewind this about Lincoln Riley.
On a good foot. We had Democrats vote for Lake and Riley that has allowed for deportation without due.
Wow, here you got a girl. She was not raped. She was murdered by an illegal who was trying to rape her. Okay, and this Democrat Ro Khanna, who's in the United States House of Representatives, is angry at colleagues that voted in favor of a bill that would help other girls from not being murdered who wouldn't allow themselves to be raped. This is what the Democrat Party has become.
Due process. We had Democrats vote for capitulation. We need to stand our ground.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. For who's he talking about? The guy that killed Lincoln Riley? What's the matter with Ro Khanna? I'll tell you what's the matter with him. He's a Democrat. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. My question. I live in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I got you in the background. I apologize. All right. I work in New Jersey.
Here's another one.
I work in New York. I live in New Jersey. And the entire, what's going on right now in New York with the homeless and the illegals, it's out of control. It's horrible. My question is, he doesn't President Trump doesn't have any kind of restrictions with regards to the state sovereignty and dealing with D.C., how is he going to overcome dealing with state sovereignty if he goes into
state sovereignty? What are you in the Confederate States of America? The Democrats want to secede from the Union again? Here's the thing, okay? When the country is attacked by domestic terrorists, the federal government has a history of moving in.
Right.
So these criminals are domestic terrorists. So it's within his authority to move in to defend the United States, no matter where. It doesn't matter if they're in New York or St. Louis or Miami. I don't remember people saying when the Oklahoma City governmental center was blown up and 168 were killed, oh, what are these feds doing there?
Oh, no. I agree, Brian.
What about
agree.
Oklahoma's sovereignty here? Come on.
No. You misunderstand me with regards to the illegals 100%.
I'm talking about I'm not talking about the illegals. The crime wave, these criminals, right?
No. I'm talking about the homeless.
We're not talking about the homeless. We're talking about the cleaning up the crime in D.C. Notice Democrats are trying to get us not to talk about this because they know I'm right. All right, let's go. And Trump is always right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Scott. I'm calling from Kansas City.
All right, Kansas City. What's on your mind, Scott?
Well, I'm weighing things out about what Trump's wanting to do and has done in the cities as far as reducing or, if at all possible, stopping violent or fatal crime.
Well, he's done that. In Washington, D.C., they've said for the first time in a long time there has not been a murder in over a week. So there are people alive in D.C. that are alive because of what Donald Trump is doing. And it's being widely reported in every news source that crime is down dramatically, over 80% in D.C. because of what Trump's doing.
Yeah, and one of the crazy things is one of those two people, a man and a woman, that were attacked at that music show, the woman is saying, "Hey, President Trump, darn you and your insurrection, your
what
occupation,
insurrection? What insurrection?
Yeah, well, no, I can't say that I'm quoting her exactly, but I heard a little bit of what she said.
What do you mean, your insurrection? Whose insurrection? What insurrection?
Well, yeah, that's her words.
Oh, okay, because I don't know what she's referencing.
Yeah. Well, she's saying it's an occupation.
What's occupied? There's an occupation of what? Where? What's being occupied?
Of the city, and it's a violation of Posse Comitatus. And
right. I don't even know. Dump that, Mike. I don't know what if that was real Latin. No, I would dump that. I tell you, these Democrats, they're trying to get the profanity about trying to pass it off as Latin. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a great week. I mean, this is Monday, and things are just starting, and it's already happening. Oh man, listen, I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. You know, it's hurricane season. I don't like to say rainy season. It's hurricane season, okay? And we've been lucky so far, but man, we've had some heavy rains and some winds, and over the weekend, holy smokes, the winds were so heavy during the rains. I have a screened-in back porch that covers the length of my house almost, and the winds were blowing in a direction. The water was coming through my screen. I was like, oh, my goodness. I like to sit out during the rain and watch, but the winds, and that wind is always looking for an entryway into your home, and the most common entryway into a home is a loose shingle or tile on that roof. If you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof. And let me tell you, you get up there, that leak is much bigger than that little wet spot on your ceiling indicates. Because by the time it gets there, it goes through all the roofing material, the wood in the roof, the shingles, the tiles, then you've got insulation it's dripping through. That little wet spot that's the size of a quarter, The leak up at that roof level is much worse than you would realize when you have just a quarter-size wet spot on the ceiling. Call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Protect yourself, your home, your family. That wind, you don't want that wind to get under that loose shingle, that loose tile, and rip your roof off. Then it's off to Kansas, like in The Wizard of Oz. You don't want that. Tom Laporta handles both the east and west coast of Florida, everywhere in between. He works on every type of structure, commercial, municipal, residential. He can also handle the job of any size, whether it's one office building or a single-family home or a condo HOA that has hundreds of units. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. We'll be right back. Oh, my goodness. Calls today have been a little weird, haven't they? Oh, my. I don't know what's going on with these guys today, but it's a strange day. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go back to the phones. Those of you I have 2 live streams going. So those of you that are watching on the live screen where you see the green behind me. Okay. To get the benefits, to hear the sound bites I play, to see the videos and articles and everything, you have to go to my other stream, which is here on YouTube. With the stream with the green, when you see the green behind me, you can obviously hear and see me and hear the callers, but if you want to hear the audio sound bites and the videos and see the articles and everything I cover, you have to go to my other stream. There you get the benefits of the green screen effect. And when people ask if you could let people know that from time to time, you guys in the chat, I would appreciate that. If you're new to my channel, we're in a bottom of the hour radio station commercial break, and we'll be back shortly. But subscribe if you're new. It's right here on the same YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. And if you go to my channel, you'll see it. It has a thumbnail of President Trump in a Chicago police officer's uniform. Is in the thumbnail. And there you hear all the audio sound bites. You get to see the video, the articles, and everything that I cover. Brian Craig Show right here on YouTube. Just open up my channel profile if you're watching with the green behind me. If you see the green behind me, that is. We'll be back in 2 minutes. I've got that hat. Let me see if I can get it. The Trump was right about everything hat. Let me see if I have it back here. This is the Trump was right about everything hat. That's a good hat, isn't it? I like it. It's the one the president's wearing. It's a good one. Just over a minute, we'll be back. Less than a minute. Yeah, I've got a whole MAGA hat collection. I have about, 11 to 15 different MAGA hats. I got to tell you, my wife has gotten me on a new allergy medication. It's just starting to kick in. I'm allergic to cats, and I've got 5 of them in the house, so it takes a while for it to kick in, a couple of weeks, and I'm feeling it kicking in now. All right, here we go. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the president has not only rid D.C. of crime, but he's spreading to other cities. The Democrats are freaking out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike. What's up?
You know, all our lives, Brian, we've heard about this thing called the war on crime, right?
That's right.
The war on crime. And by and large, it's been a losing battle, right? Until now. Think about this now. How far have the Democrats fallen? The Democrats at one point had a notoriously tough on crime AG of the United States and RFK Sr.
Yep.
You know, he was notoriously so notorious that probably got him assassinated.
Maybe.
Him being so tough on crime.
Yeah.
You know, but he was notoriously tough on crime. And how far they've had 2 crime families in the White House, the Clinton crime family and the Biden crime family.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And the Bush war crime family.
Yes, yeah, and that's the thing. Think about that now. I mean, look, the war on crime.
No one's, everybody, we've heard this war on crime, but no one's done anything about it. I appreciate the call, Mike, until Trump. So let's go through some more of this. I'll replay the president. This is last week, the president talking about moving the model of what they've done in D.C. to other cities, starting with Chicago.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this, and it won't even be tough.
Nope.
And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one.
That's right.
But they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with
That's great.
New York, and we're going to help with... And I think a lot of...
Oh, someone said Los Angeles. Was that JD that said Los Angeles? That sounded like JD's voice. I'm not sure whose voice that was. That JD Vance?
We're going to help with... And I think really, a lot of these people that you see on television, they are, including the people in this audience, they'll say bad things about me, and then they'll say, thank God he's here. Because half of them got mugged, and they don't want to get mugged again. But they work for stupid people that are radical left, and they're made to do things and say things that they don't want to be saying. But the people right here are all happy because you're not going to be mugged.
And what he's talking about is the White House press corps. The White House press corps live and work in D.C. Some of them have been victimized themselves. They've talked about it. They don't talk about it so much now, but when the announcement first happened, they were talking about it. And I was talking a little earlier. This was a crazy story. There was one member of the press I saw over the weekend, and they said that they got mugged and the person stole their phone. But before they stole their phone, they made them unlock their phone. So think about it. When your phone is because, a lot of times, well, get my phone. You don't have my combination. What are you going to do with it? Well, they make you unlock it before they take it. So what's on your phone? Can you access your bank account on your phone? Yeah. Do you own crypto? Do you have a crypto wallet like on Coinbase? Do you have that crypto Coinbase app? So you got your bank account on your phone. You got your Coinbase crypto wallet there on the phone. What else do you got? What about your investment account? Do you have access to your investment account? Maybe you do. So what happens? These criminals, they've mugged you. They've got you there at knife point, at gunpoint, whatever it is. They've made you unlock your phone. So what are they doing now? They're transferring all your money to someone's Cash App or Venmo or something. They're transferring your crypto. Oh, I own 4 Bitcoin, you might say. I wish I had 4 Bitcoin. Oh, my goodness. But now their buddies got your 4 crypto and your bank account's wiped out. This is a whole nother level of crime. It used to be they'd carjack you and take you to the ATM. And ATMs had a withdrawal limit of like $400 in most instances, you know, for a while. You can empty out your whole bank account and crypto wallet into cash apps like that on a dime on your phone. This is nuts. This is nuts. You know, I've been thinking about taking a weekend trip to DC. And if I were to do that, I think I might want to leave my cell phone home when I travel in the future. I might get one of those phones that there's these new things that minimalist Gen Zers have. They're phones that have no apps in them. I might have to get one of those just to travel around with, because you've got, I mean, I've got everything. Even your Amazon account. They can start sending stuff from your Amazon to people, stealing from you that way. Very scary. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. So let's get back to it. So the mayor of Chicago is visibly ticked off that Chicago is going to be crime-free.
What the president is claiming that he wants troops to do.
See, this is Mayor Johnson of Chicago.
What the president is claiming that he wants troops to do, they don't even have the authority to do it. They have no arresting powers.
The mayor responding to President Donald Trump, who said...
See, now, first of all, you know, I was talking about, you know, in D.C. where the National Guard are there and armed. They're not arresting. There's just a presence. The arrest powers come from the local law enforcement and the federal agents who do have arrest powers. The National Guard are just there for the presence, and the presence enough has stopped someone from being murdered, stopping people from being murdered for over a week in D.C. now. So they're not violent. They're not arresting people.
What the president is claiming that he wants troops to do, they don't even have the authority to do it. They have no arresting powers.
The mayor responding to President Donald Trump, who said he'll be expanding National Guard deployments to cities other than Washington.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this.
The president's Oval Office comments come as Chicago police data shows overall crime since the first of the year is down 13%.
Now, don't you love this BS? Now all of it, you know, the crime was down in D.C., now it's down in... All of a sudden, there's no crime in these blue cities, according to these liberal hacks.
Compared to the same period last year. And violent crime is down 23%.
Oh, yeah.
I think he wants to provoke violence.
He's ending violence. They got some liberal... minister from some liberal church somewhere.
Because if he can provoke violence, then it's going to be martial law.
Turning the federal military on American citizens is a sign of authoritarianism.
The president claiming many in Chicago want the Guard.
Screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this.
Listen to this.
But they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago.
Thank you, President Donald Trump, for hearing us.
Zoe Lee and Daniel Carter Walters founded the conservative group Chicago Flips Red and says despite CPD's numbers, many don't feel safe.
And if the Democrat Party, only thing they can do to help us is tell us crime is down, then hey, we welcome the National Guard.
Okay, so there you have black women organizing this group, turning Chicago red. See, that's what I was telling you. This is, not only is he doing what no one has bothered to even attempt to do, rid our blue cities of violent crime, this is a midterm election strategy. You know, forgetting about these Democrat incompetent jokes that are jibber-jabbering for the rights of criminals to go out and rape and murder and assault and rob and do all this stuff. The people that actually live in these cities with their families that are not politicians are praising Trump. And I have seen so many people online that are local D.C. residents that are so excited. And they're black because it's, you know, majority minority city. I was watching a guy early this morning. He's got a watch covered in diamonds. I don't know where he got the money for the watch or how much that watch is worth, but it's pretty fancy. And he's walking around with this watch with diamonds. It's like, look, I could walk around D.C. with this on now. So these blue cities are being red-pilled and magnetized. One by one, this is going to happen nationwide. And by the time this is done, it's going to be midterm election season. And the midterm election main issue is going to be, hey, right? Do you like living in a city without crime? Re-elect Republicans. If you want to live in a city filled with crime, vote Democrat. That sounds pretty good to me. That's a good campaign theme. And that's what's actually going to happen. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You know, I haven't heard from one Democrat who's happy that no one's been murdered in over a week in D.C. There are people alive in D.C. because of Donald Trump. 1-888-465-2631. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. You know, Friendly Tire in Margate, I've been a customer there for about 20 years now. It's absolutely amazing. You can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, and when I say out the door and on the road, what I mean by that is at Friendly Tire in Margate, he does not charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tires. So whatever he quotes you, that's out the door and on the road. New tires as low as $75 a tire, and that's for common sizes on some of the most popular vehicles on the road today, okay? It's amazing. And it's not a little Fiat tire, okay? I'm talking about like very popular vehicles. Give Friendly Mike a call. He has all the name brands you know and love too. And he also does tire repairs. And he has thousands of good used tires in stock at even lower prices. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back. Okay.
Big retailers don't want you to have this zoom lens, but there's nothing they can do to stop it. So there's this new super...
And
okay, got that. I'm just queuing things up for when we get back.
Multiple media reports say
okay. Okay. We'll be back in just over a minute. Just over a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. about a minute. We'll be back. About 30 seconds, guys. Welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Call us on hold, standby. So the Democrats are advocating hardcore for the constitutional rights of criminals to go out and carjack, rape, murder, break in, rob you, mug you, victimize you and your families. And of course, President Trump said the National Guard and others are heading to Chicago next. This is a local ABC affiliate out of Chicago. Listen.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says there's been no communication from the White House, but multiple media reports say...
Why communicate with him? What's he going to do?
Johnson says there's been no communication from the White House, but multiple media reports say the Trump administration has been planning for National Guard troops in Chicago for weeks.
That's right.
At the UIC Forum, U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders with harsh words for the president.
This is a demagogue whose function in life is to serve the oligarchy and to try to divide us up.
Here's a guy who's a millionaire many times over, right? Worried about telling people to beware of rich people.
A U.S. official tells ABC News the Pentagon is drafting plans for the potential use of National Guard troops in Chicago.
That's right.
A Pentagon spokesperson saying, "We won't speculate on further operations. The department is a planning organization and is continuously working with other agency partners on plans to protect federal assets and personnel."
To Donald Trump, you're not going to attack our home state for making history. And if you send troops, we will resist you.
Whoa. Yeah, that's a state senator in Illinois. Let's rewind that. This is a state senator in Illinois speaking. Oh, let's go back. What? What did he say?
Protect federal assets and personnel.
To Donald Trump, you're not going to attack our home state for making history. And if you send troops, we will resist you.
Wait a minute. We will, if you send federal troops. This is a sitting state senator in Illinois said to a group in a microphone at a podium, and it's on the news in Chicago, that if you send federal troops, we will resist you. Wait a minute. Is that not the liberal? Is that not an insurrectionist threat? Would that not be an insurrection? If you are resisting, if you're interrupting government business, you're taking part in an insurrection. Holy smokes. Let's play the rest of this. The Democrats are advocating for an insurrection? For the rights of violent criminals?
Assets and personnel.
To Donald Trump, you're not going to attack our home state for making history. And if you send troops, we will resist you.
Oh my.
The brave men and women who signed up to serve our country did not sign up to occupy American cities.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says he's heard nothing from the White House following President Donald Trump's Friday comments about expanding Guard deployments to cities other than Washington.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor.
That's right.
Grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this.
It's too much crime.
Now, here's a black woman in Chicago wearing a MAGA hat being interviewed right after the president's speaking.
Our next one after this.
It's too much crime. So it needs to be some type of law and order. And if this administration cannot get it done, the Johnson administration can't get it done, then yeah, we need the National Guard.
In a statement, Governor J.B. Pritzker said Donald Trump is attempting to manufacture a crisis, politicize Americans who serve in uniform, and continue abusing his power to distract from the pain he is causing working families.
As a commander-in-chief.
Are working families, these carjackers and such, Are they working for their family by robbing people and killing them sometimes? Is that what the governor of Illinois is? Boy, they're afraid of ending crime in Chicago.
Over his 2 terms, he is only deployed.
This is Rahm Emanuel.
And put boots on the ground in American cities, never overseas. And just think about what that means as a country.
It's another step towards authoritarianism.
Oh,
that
yes.
He's operating as a dictator.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. The constitutional guarantee of thugs to do crime. That's the Democrat way. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Jim. I'm from Indiana. And I calling in because I'm one of these people who really loves Trump's take. Not for the reasons why most people think, but I really get off on how.
I'm sure you do. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug. What's up, man?
Okay, you're mentioning that they're saying that the crime is down in Chicago, which we all know is probably incorrect.
It's
but let's
insane.
say the crime is down a little, okay? But how long are people supposed to wait? So it's down 20%, 25%. All right. What's wrong with having it down 99%? How long are people?
Yeah.
How long is people supposed to wait to have a safe damn city? So these Democrats are just there's something wrong with them, man. But which we know that, but. I don't know why they would be against President Trump coming in there. He's not doing anything but cleaning up the city. I don't get it.
Well, there's something about Democrats. They believe, Democrats have always, listen, they've always been wrong on the issues, always. They have advocated for criminals quite a bit with the illegals. Now they're advocating for carjackers, rapists, murderers, strong-arm robbers, armed robbers. It's insane.
Carjacks, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're that insane that, like you mentioned on your podcast, alligator, Alcatraz, some dumb.
I'm gonna get into that in the next hour. I don't want to get into that too much now, but the Democrats are openly advocating for. Again, I'm not a constitutional scholar like Mark Levin, okay? I mean, I know the basics of it. I'm not a lawyer. But apparently the Democrats have, what they're telling us is that criminals have a constitutional right to do crime.
They come up with some stuff. Every day you hear something new from them and you go, wow, I didn't think they could come up with anything else, any more stupidity. But boy, there's no shortage of stupidity with these Democrats.
Well, you can hear it. You've been hearing it from liberal callers on the program today. We've not heard from a single liberal that's against crime.
And you would think they would say, they know that their membership is dwindling down to nothing, and everybody's going over to become Republican. Well, what is it, 2 million or 20 million? Or I forgot what they say. But the amazing amount are leaving the Democratic Party. You would think they would say, before the ship sinks, we better stop this nonsense. But no, the few that are left, they just want to go down with the ship, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And when it goes down, goodbye. I won't miss them at all.
Yeah.
We might not have nothing too much to talk about. It's some good stuff, but I don't.
No, there'll always be things to talk about. But I'm loving this, and when he rids other blue cities of crime like Chicago, when he takes the D.C. model to these other cities, Chicago's next. The people that live, the residents, are going to become Republican voters, and we're going to see. Illinois is very Republican outside of Chicago.
Yep.
And if you magnetize and red pill the residents, Indiana is now a Republican state. We're gonna win this midterm. All right, Doug, appreciate the call. I want to talk about the great Mike Lindell at MyPillow. With our promo code Kane at checkout, KANE, there's huge savings, free shipping on all orders of $100 or more. But right now, the sale of the year, the closeout sale is going on in the Percow sheets, any size, any color. Just $29.88 with our promo code Kane at checkout at mypillow.com. That means whether any size, any color, for any size mattress, twin, single, queen, king, split king, California king, whatever it is, the RV queen, whatever it is, just $29.88. And that's a savings as much as $90 for each set of sheets with our promo code Kane at checkout, KANE. Employee pricing site-wide, the premium MyPillow I paid over $60 for my first MyPillow. You can get that same pillow with our promo code Kane, of course, for just $19.98. The MyPillow, My Slippers, regular price. Well, oh my goodness, this is a huge slash. The regular price, $149.98. He slashed the price, $110, just $39.98 for the MyPillow, My Slippers with our promo code Kane at checkout. And the sales and the specials go on. You can use our promo code Kane on all the specials at mypillow.com. The beach towels, 50% off. The pet beds, which I have, just $39.98. And remember, it's free shipping on all orders that equal $100 or more with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. So make sure you go and do that. Go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout for huge savings and free shipping on all orders that equal $100 or more. All right, 1 hour down, 2 more to go. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. And we've yet to hear from a single Democrat opposed to crime. I mean, I can't believe it. It's crazy. I'm in shock. 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after this break. No, I'm at a complete loss. I mean, I'm in shock. Not one Democrat has called in against crime. No, I don't know. That's just what criminals are about now. Liberals are about crime. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. "90 seconds, we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. Now, those of you watching the live stream that has you're seeing the green wall behind me. If you go to my other stream here on my YouTube channel, you can see and hear the videos I play and see all the stuff I show and hear all the audio, okay? If you're seeing the green behind you, you can see and hear me and the callers, but not the audio sound bites or the videos or the articles that I go over, okay? So switch over to that stream and you get the full green screen effect. We've got less than a minute. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Callers on hold, stand by. Do a recap before we move into other things. President Trump has virtually rid Washington, D.C. of crime. There hasn't been a murder in over a week. Other violent crimes down over 83%. There are people alive today in D.C. who would not be alive if President Trump had not intervened in D.C. crime. He has vowed to go to Chicago next.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this, and it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York, and we're going to help with... And I think a lot of these people that you see on television, they are, including the people in this audience, they'll say bad things about me, and then they'll say, thank God he's here.
Yeah, because they're the D.C. press corps. So he's going to go to Chicago next. And what we're hearing from the national Democrat elected officials is an argument for the constitutional rights of criminals to do crime. I've heard from a lot of liberals on the phones today. All of them have been pro-criminal. So let's find out. We're moved into a new hour. Maybe we can find a Democrat who is opposed to crime. We'll find out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Steve in Chicago.
Hey, speak up, Chicago.
It's Steve in Chicago, and I'm excited he's coming.
Great.
It's great to come in. If they clean up this area where I am, that would be awesome.
Are you in a, let me ask you, when you're in Chicago's a big area, are you in a high crime part of Chicago?
I really don't know because I live in a retirement home.
Ah, you live in a retirement home.
I'm never outside of my place, and it's like kind of, it's just east of the main part of Chicago.
Yeah.
But, I'm just excited, and I'm thinking, oh, okay,
well, of course.
Come to my place.
I mean, what person, I mean, think about it. What person does not want their city crime-free?
Exactly. I mean, this is great about all the cities. I see the reports that he's cleaning up all cities. I'm excited.
He's sending the national. Yeah, I appreciate the call. Yeah, he's sending the National Guard to 19 cities. All right. So we're looking for a Democrat who's opposed to crime. I know that seems crazy. That should be. I should have a full board of calls, you would think, but all the Democrats are telling us that the criminals, their constitutional rights are being violated. Their right to carjack, to rape, to murder, to rob, to armed robbery, strong arm robbery. Apparently there's some constitutional amendments that are often ignored that give criminals rights to do crime. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
James from Boca.
Hey, James. What's up?
I lived in Chicago from 2001 until 2009, and I moved down here to Florida. And they brought out the National Guard 4 different spring times to curb the crime.
Yeah.
So this is nothing new to Chicago.
I mean, think about it. You're in Boca. You're in Boca. What if all of a sudden people were getting carjacked and robbed in Meisner Park in Boca? Do you think that people in Boca would say, these criminals, you don't want to violate their constitutional rights. They got a right to mug. They got a right to carjack. Or would Boca residents be outraged and it'd be stopped in days?
Well, depending on the neighborhood, like
Meisner Park.
But in Chicago, like the south side of Chicago, you can't walk down there. You can't drive through there.
Wait a minute. You can't walk down there now. But soon you'll be able to, because Donald Trump's sending the National Guard there.
Well, my
my point to this is that they brought in the National Guard 3 or 4 times before this. So why are they fighting Donald doing this?
Because when Donald Trump sends them in with federal agents and he federalizes local law enforcement, they're going to actually arrest criminals and get them off the streets.
Well, yeah, they didn't really do that then, but they did curb the crime. But like, you can't do a drive-by in the wintertime in Chicago. So they all wait till springtime when they can, take care of their business.
Well, we've got Labor Day weekend coming up, right? Watch. That's a big crime weekend in Chicago. Watch.
Oh, yeah. Every day is a big crime day.
It's too bad we can't have them in there now before Labor Day weekend, but it takes time to mobilize.
Yep. God bless President Trump, and everybody hang on. The ride's about to get wild, but at the end, it'll calm down.
That's right, and Chicago will be a safe city to walk in. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Adam from New York.
Hey, New York. What's on your mind?
Hey, I just want to remind you, I don't know if you ever heard about last summer. I believe it was last summer or the year before. J.D. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois.
He's the fat guy I see on TV all the time? Yeah, that's trying to lose weight?
Yeah, the Jabba the Hutt.
The Chris Christie of Illinois, is what I call him.
Yeah. The state legislation he put through where any illegal could become a law enforcement officer.
What?
And make, yes. I believe it passed last year.
You can be, really? So you can be a criminal and become a cop in Illinois? That's crazy.
Yeah. And,
wow.
Look it up. I believe it was through last summer. But there's no outrage over that. There's no outrage over that, but they want to go after the president for sending the National Guard in.
It's crazy. By the way, let's slow down for a second here. Hold on for a second. In D.C., they've done a lot of arrests. None of it's been the National Guard. It's been local police and federal agents who have arrest powers. The National Guard's just been there. Just their presence has deterred crime. Okay? So don't buy into this thing that the Army's arresting civilians. It hasn't happened.
No, but they make a big deal that the president is trying to federalize the police department.
That's right. Sure.
But nobody questions J.D. Pritzker on writing something in the state legislation or to have illegals become law enforcement officers.
That's true. That's crazy to me, because I was under the impression
just like that my governor in New York, a traitor too.
I was under the impression you had to have a clean criminal record to be a police officer, but you're telling me that the Chris Christie of Illinois.
It was on Yahoo News last summer. I believe it was last
year. Can be a federal fugitive from justice, which is what an illegal is, and become a cop. That sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, and the best part was it said I read that they weren't even doing background checking on them.
They don't do background checks?
Yeah.
On police candidates?
That's what I read. It was on Yahoo News.
How do you know they're not like a cartel person? Oh my! Hey, listen, appreciate the call. That's scary. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Brandon. I'm calling from Cleveland.
Hey, Brandon in Cleveland. What's on your mind?
Well, I was going to give you the evidence that Democrats not only are opposed to crime, but support the things that prevent crime rather than just wanting to throw folks in prison.
Okay.
For example, we know that people who are educated, who are healthy, and who are not hungry don't go out and commit crimes. And yet, those are the things that the Republicans want to cut.
Slow down. Before you move on to the next one, I'm glad you called, because you sound very smart. You say people that are educated and not hungry don't. This guy that killed all these students at that college that just went to prison, he's was in graduate school. studying criminology.
Well, there's one anecdotal.
O.J. Simpson went to college. O.J. Simpson's a college graduate.
Okay, now you've got two.
Got two. I mean, okay, you said, but okay.
How many violent crimes? No, stop for a second. How many violent crimes were committed in America last year? And then you go back and look at, were those people educated? Were those people poor?
I don't know,
Did
but
those people have health insurance?
Okay.
Did they have mental health coverage?
Mental health coverage.
So
what are you suggesting? So what are you suggesting? If somebody threatens to do crime, give them health insurance and money so that they don't have to work or want, and they'll just sit back in their apartment, their Section 8 housing, and not do crime. You want to pay protection money to criminals?
Well, no, not at all.
Okay.
The point is that is to prevent people from becoming criminals.
Slow down for a second. Most people, excuse me. You're suggesting that we pay protection money to people, don't put them in jail, just set them up with EBT cards, Section 8 housing.
That is a complete misrepresentation of what I just said.
Give them a free college education.
That is a complete misrepresentation. Anybody who's listening to this program who has an open mind and has the ability to think critically, knows that you're misrepresenting.
Let me tell you something. My hometown is Columbus, Ohio. I've been to Cleveland many times. And I'm sure you do. Oh, yeah. Now that he knows I know Cleveland, he wants to get off the line. Let me tell you something. Every joke made about Cleveland is well-deserved. It's the worst. It is the worst, okay? Oh, my goodness. He's got to get off the line. That's where the Obama phone lady was at. Everyone in Cleveland's got an Obama phone. Remember that? That's Cleveland. We're not going to take advice from people that live in Cleveland, Ohio, on how to make America a better place, okay? Ohio is a great state. It's my home state. I lived in Florida almost my whole life, but Cleveland, it's not Columbus, I'm here to tell you. You know what the governor of Illinois needs? You know what he needs? He needs coastal weight loss secret. Oh, man. You know, he's trying to lose weight. I don't know what he's doing, but it's not too successful. You know, all this weight I lost with coastal weight loss secret, I haven't gained 1 ounce back. Not 1 ounce. And I keep telling you guys, no exercise, no prescription medications, no pills, no shots, and no weirdo foods. When I first went to Coastal Weight Loss Secret and met with Dr. Zuckerman, I didn't know what to expect. I knew nothing. I went over there and I told Dr. Zuckerman I thought I was going to be walking out of here with a box of food that tasted terrible and with little tiny bits of food. No, I eat foods I would normally. The reason I have not gained the weight back is because with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I haven't had any big lifestyle changes that are impossible to maintain forever. Working out all the time, starving yourself, eating god-awful food. No exercise, no medications, no shots. I can't believe people inject themselves with things to lose weight. Just go to Coastal Weight Loss Secret and eat the food you would normally eat. Here's the number. And no matter where you're located in America, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you lose weight. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by, guys. I love that guy from Cleveland. He wants to pay off criminals not to do crime. Protection money. Had some pretty good calls today, but, we haven't had a single liberal call in against crime. We got just over a minute, and we'll be back. We haven't heard from a single liberal who's come out against crime. It's crazy.
Rule.
All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Also, everyone, make sure you click the notification bell. I've been coming on early. I came on Thursday, Friday, and this morning early. Today, I came on 40 minutes before the radio show and was taking live calls and everything. So if you click the notification bell, you'll get a notification when I go live in the morning. I'm still going to set it for 6 a.m., but I'll be coming on early. And what time I come on exactly depends on when I get all my stuff together. So it might be 5:20, it might be 5:30, but that's going to be the new way of the show now. So click that notification bell so you get the notification when I go live, if you guys don't mind. And I was taking calls, and pretty good calls coming in. We're back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. So President Trump says Chicago's next. Here's the Democrat mayor of Chicago. Listen to this.
I just want to get your reaction to another thing
on
in
MSNBC.
The Washington Post story, and I'm reading directly here. It says, the use of thousands of active duty troops in Chicago also has been discussed, but is considered less likely at...
Now, all of a sudden, Democrats are for smaller federal government. They wanted the federal government involved in every aspect of our lives, but now all of a sudden they're talking about federal government overreach. Again, this is the mayor of Chicago on MSNBC in a panic that his city is going to be crime-free.
Rule.
Mr. Mayor, in the time that we have left, I just want to get your reaction to another thing in the Washington Post story, and I'm reading directly here. It says, the use of thousands of active duty troops in Chicago also has been discussed, but is considered less likely at this time. We saw him do that with active duty Marines on the streets of Los Angeles. What would the reaction be in Chicago if the President of the United States does indeed put active duty military on the streets of Chicago?
Well, again, the city of Chicago does not need a military occupied state. That's not who we are. And I commend the work of Mayor Bass, my colleague, and all the folks in Los Angeles who stood up and fought, against this, authoritarianism. Here's the bottom line. They don't have police power. There's nothing they can do. These are federal troops. They do not go through the training that our police officers go through, so they cannot even enact police authority.
But Mayor Johnson,
in
they
fact,
don't have it now.
The president has, that's a good point, but the president has spent hundreds of millions of dollars to what? Arrest 9 people in D.C.? That clearly he's demonstrated that he doesn't have a level of consciousness to understand what it takes to run cities, not to mention an entire country. And so, look, we're going to remain firm. We'll take legal action. But the people of this city are accustomed to rising up against tyranny.
Ooh, okay. So at the top of the hour, there was a state senator from Illinois that's causing to rise up against the commander-in-chief's army. Now we have the mayor of Chicago calling for the people of Chicago to rise up against the federal government who's going to rid us of crime. Is this not The textbook definition of what an insurrection is, according to MSNBC, CNN, and all the mainstream media after January 6th, it seems so to me. You're on the air. Is the mayor an insurrectionist? Is that state senator an insurrectionist? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, my name is Leroy. I'm calling from St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, you're going to be on the list.
I can tell you,
your city's going to be on the list.
I'm a liberal who does not support crime or criminals.
Wow.
I can tell you that white boy in the White House is a convicted felon and on the Epstein list.
Oh, really? So this is an interesting thing. An interesting thing. A liberal who comes out against crime but is mad at Donald Trump for stopping the crime. You know, this is such a great thing that's happening here. Because what happens every once in a while, it's not too common, but it happens every once in a while. What happens? Democrats come out of the closet and show what they're really about. Let's finish up with the mayor. Listen.
To what? Arrest 9 people in D.C.? You know, that clearly he's demonstrated that he doesn't have a level of consciousness to understand what it takes to run cities, not to mention an entire country. And so, you know, look, we're going to remain firm. We'll take legal action. But the people of this city are accustomed to rising up against tyranny.
Okay, so rise up against tyranny. So he's calling for the people of Chicago to rise up against this out-of-control government, this out-of-control president, who's going to rid our city of crime. Insurrection right there. Boom.
And if that's necessary...
In fact, what he's talking about is beyond the bounds of protected free speech. He is calling for violence.
I believe that the people of Chicago will stand firm alongside of me as I work every single day to protect the people of this city.
Oh, wow. By allowing criminals to run free. You know, this is, I got to say, one of the most bizarre news cycles I have ever heard in my life. There's never been a time that the Democrats were not wrong. But they're out of the closet about how they really feel. And if you remember years ago, remember they were advocating, this was crazy. The Democrats were advocating to give felons the right to vote. But not just people that had done their time. The Democrats were actually advocating to have people currently incarcerated to have their vote. Can you imagine? They want people in the jails and in the prisons to be able to vote. And there was a lot of blowback from that, so they backed off. But now they're so desperate in this Trump era, they're saying crazy things. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Bob in Lake Worth. How you doing, Brian?
All right, Lake Worth. What's up, man? Hey, can you turn the turn signal off?
Not much.
Do you mind? Your turn signal's on.
There we go.
There you go. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
Yep, it's off now.
Great.
Anyway, the fellow that called about, how the Democrats are for things that keep down crime.
Yes.
Well, let's see. They passed the bill where men cannot be in the households. And the number one reason to get in prison is not having a dad in your house. So there's one thing he's wrong about. Second thing is they're run by the teachers union. The teachers union wants failing schools in these inner cities so that they can control the people. So that's another reason why they're uneducated. So everything he basically said is the total opposite of what the Democrats stand for. And it amazes me how blind the Democrats are not see that the very policies that they hold to are the very policies that contribute to crime and population degradation and things like that. It's just crazy how they don't see this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to me. I've got a family member in jail, and he's a product of the system. He was not his dad had to get out of the house because of the mom on Section 8 housing, and everything they stand for is against actually what we need to do. So I'm very proud of our president taking these wonderful cities back and protecting our citizens. So
well, what he's doing. Right? Appreciate the call. What President Trump is doing is taking these issues that we've always talked about, that no one's done anything about, closing the border, ridding our blue cities of crime, and he's actually doing it. And he's not even doing it for his... It's not political because he's doing this in Democrat cities. These are not people that voted for. Now, they may vote for him in the next go around. They're going to vote for Republican in the midterms maybe, but these are people that have voted Democrat their whole lives. So he's not doing it for political gain. Now, there may be political gain as a result, but that's just a very positive side effect. I want to talk about the free doorbell camera offer from Slomin's. That's a great way to protect yourself from crime. You know, you with the doorbell camera from Slomin's, it connects directly to your cell phone. You get a notification on your phone every time there's movement at your door. It's amazing. Never open the door for people. You never know who's out there. You know, I was watching a true crime story about a home invasion attack yesterday. A woman opened her door for someone she shouldn't have opened the door for. With the doorbell camera, you'll never open your door for someone that you shouldn't open it for ever again. And you can get a doorbell camera that connects to your cell phone for free with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Here's the number, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. Also, listen to this. Listen to this. They're also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use Slomin's low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, and a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Here's the number, 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. Stand by, guys. We'll be back shortly. Now listen, if you're 65 years of age or older, give Chapter a call. They can help you with your Medicare no matter which one of the 50 states or District of Columbia as well that you're in. You're going to get a real agent on the phone. They'll answer all your questions for free about your Medicare. You know, the average Chapter client saves $1,100 a year on their Medicare. That's right. And you could be one of them. So give them a call. They'll review your policy at no charge. There's no catches or anything. The number's on your screen. It's also in the description of the video. Millions of seniors are not getting all the Medicare benefits they're entitled to. Chapter will make sure that you are, and you're not paying too much. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033 for Chapter. Again, the number is also in the description of the video. All right, we'll be back in less than a minute. If you're on hold, stand by. There are 2 openings on the board at 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 opening on the board. There were 2. Now there's 1. Okay, we're back. There's 1 opening on the board at 1-888-465-2631. President Trump says he's moving the National Guard into 19 other American cities to rid them of crime, and Chicago is next. And we've been hearing from a lot of Democrats today. All of them are coming out in favor of the constitutional guarantee that they've imagined exists of criminals being able to carjack, rape, murder, arm rob, strong arm rob, whatever they got to do. One guy had a brilliant solution. Let's send them all to college. Okay. How about send them all to the Marine Corps? How about that? Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
This is crazy stuff. We're in a crazy time. First of all,
tell me about it.
This mayor of Chicago has 150 police officers protecting his sorry behind every day. He said they're so hypocritical. It's amazing.
Why? Why does he need 150 police? He's an advocate for the criminals. Love the mayor of Chicago. Why would they victimize their civil right? He's the Martin Luther King of violent criminals.
Absolutely. When they say crime is down, when they say crime is down, you walk. First of all, it's going to relate to this. There was a bus driver that drove with us that had a couple of jewelry stores, and he lost his jewelry stores because they were robbed so many times he couldn't get insurance. You talk about crime in Chicago, you can't go into a Walgreens or a Target without half the place being locked up.
Richie, listen, when they say crime is down, there's 2 possibilities.
They're liars.
One, they're just cooking the books and making up the numbers. That's one. Or they're just not arresting the criminals. It's one of those 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious as hell. I mean, the crime in Chicago, the shootings and everything else. Well, that's not the problem.
Well,
the problem is ICE.
They've picked a big deal, a bad time. Okay, all these Democrats are arguing against intervention in Chicago. Labor Day weekend is next weekend. That's a big shootout weekend for the gangbangers. Okay. I don't know. We may be live on Labor Day to cover this. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But Labor Day, like any other 3-day party weekend, is it's Dodge City in Chicago every time that happens.
Absolutely. And the Democrats, they weren't for you mentioned the big government. They're always for big government. They were very happy when they took the IRS and stick them on conservatives and said that was okay. In other words, this is all politics with these people. This all the first thing that a successful black person in one of those inner city neighborhoods does, you know what the first thing he does? He moves. He gets out of there.
That's true. That's Richie's right on the money. Yeah, when people make money, they move. That's right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. First-time caller, John from Baltimore.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Hey, man. So I just wanted to first off say I love your program.
Oh, here we go. Yes.
Second, Governor Moore.
Okay, I appreciate that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Calling from somewhere loud. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. Sounds like they're calling from a factory in China. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Seth. I'm calling out of Idaho. I was just noticing you kind of conflate anti or pro-crime with not wanting the federal government policing cities.
And you do that a lot. You conflate the actual ideas and just so you can add your own talking points in there to fuel the culture wars. Why do you feel the need to do that?
I'm a little confused. What am I saying about the federal government? And I'm confused by the beginning of your prepared statement. Can you repeat what you said?
Yeah, maybe I just joined a little bit late, but it sounded like you were saying Trump was going to move the, I think, military and all these cities to control crime rates, and you're conflating not liking that with being pro-crime.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. Liberal jibber-jabber nonsense sometimes takes a while to process. No. I didn't say anything about that. What's happened is the model that President Trump has put in place in D.C. has been a success. It's been over a week without a murder, which is a record. I don't know how long it's been, but there are people alive in D.C. that would have been murdered if Trump didn't do this. And what he did was use the local police with backup of federal agents, FBI, ATF, ICE, postal people, all that. They're the ones that are doing the police work. The Army's not doing police work.
Oh, absolutely. I just misunderstood what you were saying because I joined a little bit late. All righty.
All right.
Whatever
Take care.
you say.
Take care. Yeah, that's whatever I say. That's correct. Sorry. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Don in Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah.
Don?
I hope Jacksonville's one of the 19 cities that Trump's sending the feds to.
Me too. By the way, Cleveland is the mistake by the lake.
Yes, and you're the mistake on line 8. Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Darren here, calling from Durham, North Carolina.
All right, hold on, Darren in North Carolina. All right, yeah, go ahead, Darren. What's on your mind?
Well, I tell you what.
Here we go.
The Democrat Party is probably the scourge of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what. They hate the Constitution. They hate the Bill of Rights. So anytime, and that's that's true. So that anytime you see them holding the Constitution or talking about the Bill of Rights in any capacity, given the fact that they hate our country and they hate our institutions, they hate our foundings, anytime they hold the Constitution or quote it in any capacity, you're in for it.
That's true. By the way, the Bill of Rights are part of the Constitution, the first 10 amendments. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. John from Baltimore.
Hey, John. I think Baltimore might be one of the 19 cities that Trump's going to rid of crime.
Yeah, and we need it. And that's why I'm calling this morning. So Governor Wes Moore.
Hold on one second. My phones are ringing off the hook. Okay, yeah. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, okay. The governor of Maryland is what?
I apologize. I heard another noise.
That's okay.
Yeah, so he's trying to, I personally believe, run for president. So he's doing these goofy things by getting involved with this back and forth with President Trump right now. But as a resident of Baltimore, the Baltimore City Police Department are asking for help. They're begging for any kind of help they can get. But Moore, he's got the deranged Trump syndrome, where everything that Trump does, he wants to vocalize and fight against.
Well, you got to ask. That's true with the Trump derangement. But what is it with the Democrats that has them openly advocating for the rights of thugs to carjack, arm rob, strong arm, rape, murder? Why are they advocating for the rights of the most violent, deadly criminals in America to be able to continue to do crime? They're openly advocating for this hardcore, violent criminal activity now.
So, from my experience, what I've noticed through this last election, most of Maryland now, believe it or not, has leaned more to the Republican side, to the red side. But what's happening is you have these city areas that are so heavily populated they're just so used to turning on the news, hearing about the shootings, hearing about all these things, and how our government, our governor, is on top of it. He's fighting for those people, and
the criminals.
To be honest, yeah, and that's the thing. It's every single election these cities are controlling what the rest
No,
of
that's going to change. I appreciate the call. That's going to change because, these Democrat elected officials are a joke. The people that live in these cities, the actual voters, they're going to be red-pilled when they're living in a crime-free city. They already are advocating MAGA in Chicago openly. Now, I want to ask you this. It's Monday morning. Are you waking up on this Monday morning in pain? Maybe you're a little more active over the weekend, doing some work around the house, playing pickleball or something. Well, listen, go see Dr. Appleton. If you're in pain this morning, don't start the week off in pain. Go see Dr. Appleton. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Mondays, every day, actually Monday through Saturday, and say bye-bye to your pain. Dr. Appleton's laser treatment works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. Acute and chronic pain, herniated disc, rotary tears, plantar fasciitis, fibromyalgia, spinal stenosis, sciatica, tinnitus, knee pains, neck and back injuries, post-surgical swelling, repetitive motion injuries, work and sports injuries, arthritis, bursitis. The list goes on. This is a very incomplete list. And you all know that Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain 7 times. Here's his number, 954-973-0710. And if you've been in a car accident, whether the driver, a passenger, or in a ride share, go see him. Those pains that you're suffering from that car accident, the laser treatment works with them as well. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by, guys. We'll be back shortly. We'll be back in about 1 minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. There are three openings on our very busy board if you'd like to call in. The number's pinned in the live chat. All right, we're back. If you're on hold, hang in there. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. You know, the last caller, he was calling from Maryland. He was talking about the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore. And I pulled this up. This is the Maryland governor. He was on Face the Nation over the weekend with Margaret Brennan. Listen to this.
One of the residents of your state, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, was...
One of the residents of your state? He's an illegal alien in the country illegally. Okay, listen.
One of the residents of your state, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, was just released from pre-trial detention on Friday. But the Trump administration's instructed him to report to ICE within 72 hours for deportation to Uganda. He's originally...
Oh, yeah. Zohan. He's going to go to Uganda. Maybe Zohan can hook him up over there in Uganda.
From El Salvador. He was mistakenly deported to that prison in El Salvador and then returned to the U.S. This is federal policy. This is not state policy. But I do wonder, is there anything that you are doing to help his family?
His family? How much money did they raise off of that crowdfunding? Hundreds of thousands, maybe over $1 million. And why the hell is he helping the family of federal fugitives from justice that are going from one prison to another? What a jerk. The family's well taken care of, okay? They got their crowdfunding millions.
Stay united.
And what we know is that, you know, and all we're asking for is that the Constitution be followed on this.
Oh, the Constitution. I thought the Constitution was written by white slave owners who are white supremacists for the purpose of maintaining white supremacy. Why are all these liberal Democrats all of a sudden constitutionalist?
The Constitution is very clear about...
Anytime a Democrat's talking about the Constitution, they're burning it.
About how we deal with these types of issues. And when we look at what's happened in this situation, it's the president manipulating the fact that we have a very broken immigration system inside this country.
It's not broken. It was broken before. Now it's working, okay? It was broken. They weren't using the system. Trump is. He shut down the border and he's deporting all the illegals. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, all right. You're on the air. That was a fail from a troll. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brother Brian. IB in Broward.
Hey, IB, what's up?
You know, this guy in Chicago, we all know that he is a plant. He didn't win a free and fair election to even be the governor.
I don't know.
So when the time comes for Trump to put like even if it's not in this presidency, the next MAGA presidency will have a Republican mayor in that city. I believe they allow these things to happen. I believe that they allow this to happen. Just like Planned Parenthood, they want to kill black people, and it's okay if blacks kill blacks as long as it's not in the Chinese neighborhood or the white neighborhood. They don't need to do anything about it because the blacks are doing the job for the whites. They're killing themselves, so why bother? Let them just go ahead and do it to get rid of them. And the black people don't even understand this, but the women black that raise the children and the granddaughters, they're not coming back to the Democrat plantation because not only are they going to make money on the tax cuts, the tips, the crime will be down. They can now let their windows down when they're at
That's all true.
red light.
That's all true. Yeah, you're right on the money, IB. I agree with everything you said. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, my goodness. They're epic fails from these trolls today. They can't quite get their act together. Oh, before we break for the top, I want to talk a little bit about Alligator Alcatraz. The Democrats, they have this Obama judge that ordered them to shut it down, and for some reason they think that's going to happen. Not only is that not going to happen, okay, not only is Alligator Alcatraz not going to be closed down, they'll probably start sending more people there. Alligator Alcatraz, I was watching the coverage of Alligator Alcatraz over the weekend with the protesters that were there, okay? And there's a couple I wanted to talk about in particular. They had this one girl who they said she looks like she's in her 20s. She's with the Miccosukee Indians, okay? And they had her out in front of Alligator Alcatraz, with a whole bunch of environmentalists. And they had hundreds and hundreds of these so-called environmental activists there. Number one, how do we know she's an Indian? How do we know she's a Miccosukee tribes member. She was wearing an Indian dress that she could have bought at the gift shop at the Miccosukee Casino down the street. And I'll tell you another thing. So the news, the local, we had a lot of coverage on our local news in South Florida. I was watching the Miami and Broward stations covering Alligator Alcatraz over the weekend. And so they got this, she could be Cuban, Puerto Rican, Brazilian, Colombian, Venezuelan, and they put her, she's got the brown skin, they put her in a dress that's got some Indian-looking beads on it, and all of a sudden she's a Miccosukee. And they have her talking about, remember that Indian guy that was yelling at those kids in D.C. that wasn't an Indian? He was like Mexican or Puerto Rican, remember that? And she was talking about the pristine Miccosukee land that Alligator Alcatraz is occupying. A couple of things about this. On top of the fact, how do we know she's an Indian? Number one, this facility's been there for many years, decades, okay? They just are using it now. But here's the thing. That is not the traditional land of the Miccosukee Indians. They're not even indigenous to Florida. The Miccosukee Indians are not indigenous to Florida, okay? They're not indigenous to Florida. In fact, not even the Seminoles are indigenous to Florida, but especially the Miccosukees are not indigenous to Florida. They came from somewhere else. So this is not their native homeland burial grounds out in the muck of the Everglades. Number two, this. Did any of you watch my video of my visit to Alligator Alcatraz? And I drove there and everything and showed the way. Do you know how you find your way to Alligator Alcatraz? Do you know how you find the road to turn to? Okay, you take 27 to you can take US 27 from the north to the south to Tamiami Trail. Now, Tamiami Trail is the road we had before Alligator Alcatraz. It's the road from the east to the west coast of Florida, from the west to the east. And Tamiami, I learned this when I went to Alligator Alcatraz. I thought Tamiami was some type of Indian word, and I don't know why I just never thought about it before. It's Tampa, Miami combined. It was the way to get from Tampa to Miami or Miami to Tampa. The road was built like in 1920 something. But do you know how you find that road? It's a hard road to find. You know how you find it? Right on the corner is the Miccosukee Indian Casino, big towering hotel. Okay? And that's where you turn right and start heading west to get to Alligator Alcatraz. So it doesn't seem to me that the Miccosukee are all that concerned about the preservation of the Everglades because they built casinos and hotels in it. What's the footprint? What is the carbon footprint of the Miccosukee Indian Hotel and Casinos compared to Alligator Alcatraz? And by the way, the Miccosukees are not upset with what's going on there. I don't see any Miccosukee cops or any I see this one girl who could be Puerto Rican for all I know, or Cuban or Brazilian or Venezuelan or Colombian in a dress that they bought at the Miccosukee gift shop maybe, and they're saying she's an Indian. It's such a joke. Then the other group are the environmental nutbags and their tie-dye shirts out there. When you go to Alligator Alcatraz, because I told you I went there, you guys watch my video. There's no parking lot, okay? There's the Tamiami Trail. It's a 2-lane highway, very narrow. I would not drive that road in the dark. It's not lit. It's very scary, okay? I was there in the 2, 3 in the afternoon. There's no parking lot, okay? There's no parking lot. So where are they parking? You know where they're parking? They're parking in the grounds of the Florida Everglades. They are on the land that they're trying to protect. And there were hundreds of them. So how many cars did they take? What was the carbon footprint just for that protest in front of Alligator Alcatraz over the weekend? Right? And all these politicians that are out there, they're trying to hide behind the environmentalist and, they violated the environmental impact. Meanwhile, they're polluting the damn place up. Right? But here's the real deal. Okay? They don't like Trump. They're Democrats. They're hiding behind fake Indians. They're hiding behind environmentalism and all kinds of other nonsense to try to argue against it. But it will stay open. They're not going to close it down. I'm sorry. And that judge is going to be overruled. And that's just the way it is. I want to tell you guys about Mike Lindell and MyPillow. There's huge sales going on right now with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, at mypillow.com. Now, on all sales that are $100 or more, you get free shipping, but you also get the incredible deals that are going on. Right now, the MyPillow that started it all is just $19.98. I paid over $60 for my first MyPillow, but you're getting that employee pricing, just $19.98 with our promo code KANE. There's a closeout sale on the Percow sheets. Any size, any color, just $29.88. That's as much as a $90 savings. Any size, any color, whether it's twin, single, queen, king, split king, California king, just $29.98. Any size, any color. The MyPillow My Slippers, $110 off with our promo code KANE, just $39.98. And the specials go on and on and on. Whatever the special is, you can take advantage of it with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. And it's always free shipping right now on all orders that equal $100 or more. So it's a great deal. Go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code KANE at checkout for huge savings and free shipping. Okay, 2 hours down, 1 to go. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. 2 hours down, 1 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show, back after our top-of-the-hour break. Hey, what's up? Okay, hold on. All right, we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Okay, 1 minute. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay.
All right, the third hour has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. Steve, I got to tell you, this has been one of the strangest shows I've ever done.
You've been doing great.
I'm very
absolutely great.
It's very strange. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I just wanted.
This is what I've been telling you about the put them on the air. When you get a moron, just blow them off.
You mean disconnect the call?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
That was the rule. That was the rule on.
It's per kale.
Oh, per kale. Okay, per kale. I got the sheets. All I know, Steve, is they're comfortable. Per kale. You say per kale. I say per kale. Whatever. They're great. I have them on my guest bed.
You say tomato. I say tomato. Yeah.
All I know is $29.88 every size and color with our promo code K. Okay. This is what's been going on here, and President Trump has rid D.C. of major crime. There hasn't been a murder in over a week, which is a record. That means there are people alive who would be dead if Donald Trump had not intervened in Washington, D.C.
That's correct.
And I've seen these Democrats all over television who are saying it's unconstitutional. And what I take from that, I've been watching that all weekend, Democrat elected officials are saying that rapists, murderers, carjackers, armed robbers, strong-arm robbers, murderers, shoplifters apparently have a constitutional right to do crime.
I guess that's what it boils down to.
And then I come in this morning and I figure, you know what, we're going to, this is a nonpartisan issue.
You have to marvel at the way Don handles things. It's absolutely incredible. You see what he's doing here?
Yeah.
He's giving everybody, he's going, started, and the great thing about Donald is he tells you what he's going to do, he lays it out, and he does it, and people just sit back and go, oh my God, I can't believe he did you got to kick and scream a bit, but after the kicking and screaming is over, they're living in a crime-free neighborhood, and they're starting to say, I kind of like this.
Yeah, and next thing you know, Chicago's MAGA.
This way.
Jesse Smollett may have been like a psychic or a futurist because the south side of Chicago is going to be MAGA country by the time Trump's ridding it of crime, right? But
it looks that way to me. So just imagine yourself if you're a minority parent, and every day you're living in a world where your young kids go to school, and you live in suspense to see if they're going to make it to be picked up at the end of the day, or whether you're going to get a call that they're on a slab in the morgue.
Yeah.
Imagine all of a sudden the environment becomes crime-free. Can you imagine when it sinks in? Can you imagine trying to take those troops out of the black cities?
Exactly. And then what happened? I've heard from more liberal Democrats today than in a long time on the show. Every Democrat that's called in is an advocate for crime. No one has called in to condemn the crime. I don't understand. What's happened to Democrats? What's going on?
The same thing that's always been. They're in favor of the perverts and the degenerates and the criminals.
Exactly. They're just out of the closet about it.
Donald's got them to take that side again.
Mm-hmm.
They're always supporting the criminals. That's why their polls are where they are.
I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you on that. Well, let me give out the number. You could be the first Democrat to condemn crime. Maybe the Democrats got some constitutional convention going that we missed, and there's a violent criminal bill of rights been added to the Constitution. I don't know. Our number is toll free. 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Let's take a call or two. Let's see if we can break this trend. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Bob from Jupiter.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, real quick.
What's up, Robert?
Hey, how are you, Steve? When my kids were small, I took them out to the Indian grounds to do the wrestling, the alligator wrestling. Sure enough, I look and there's a guy I went to high school with, and I'm recognizing, and his name is Steve.
Oh, and he was passed off.
No such thing. There are how many true true Miccosukees are there in Florida?
Well, the Miccosukee, when I saw this very obese girl who looked Mexican or Puerto Rican or Cuban in the Indian-looking dress, that looked brand new, by the way, like right out off the rack.
Right out of the box.
The Miccosukee, it sounds like your kids still are little. How old are your kids?
Oh, I've got a bunch of them.
Really?
Kids now.
Oh my goodness! I can hear them. Okay, you know, the Miccosukee not only are not native to Florida, they have the Everglades filled with casinos and hotels. So I don't understand if that's their pristine burial ground, as she was saying, or whatever it is. What about the casinos? What do their ancestors think about that? The casinos and the smoke shop.
Well, yeah. And what my point is, how many really are there anymore?
3.
I've never met one.
The 3, you know,
I'm sure there's some.
No.
But I've never met, I'm not talking about somebody who's 1/10 of a Miccosukee Indian. I'm talking about a real Miccosukee Indian. How many are there?
You know, the Miccosukee, they're not like the Seminoles. I don't even know if they're really, you know how they got recognized as a tribe?
No.
During the Cold, they saw how well the Seminoles were doing. The Seminoles weren't as big as they are now, but they were big still. And they were not a federally recognized tribe. And the federal government would not recognize them as a tribe. So in the early 60s, a bunch of people who said they were Miccosukee put on Indian clothes and headdresses and stuff, like in the movies. And they flew to Havana. And Castro welcomed the Miccosukee chief. So so Washington, I don't know if it must have been Kennedy or Johnson. I don't know what month this was done exactly. They recognized them as a tribe. It was really a racket. Hey, listen,
and they probably have buffalo skins and stuff and elk horns.
What they probably did is they went to the Seminole Smoke Shop and Casino and bought some costumes from there, and they wore that and said, "I'm the chief of the Miccosukee." All right, appreciate the call, but yeah, we're all this winning, Steve. You know, I was watching.
Well, it hasn't really been. I mean, we scratched the surface. It's only just begun. After these people have lived in a crime-free neighborhood for a couple of months, and the Democratic leaders try to take it away from them and get back to the good old days where you couldn't walk down the street without a child being snatched or kidnapped or raped.
Yep.
And then the Democratic leaders come and say, we're going back to the good old days. See how easy that is.
Well, and what you're saying is true. This is what I started with today. These blue cities are going to turn red. And President Trump said Chicago's next with that D.C. model of the crime fight.
Oh, boy.
Illinois is a pretty conservative state outside of Chicago, Cook County. And the people these residents in Chicago have never lived in a crime-free city before. They haven't. They
didn't get a taste of it.
That's right.
The whole plus.
That's exact. This is going to be our midterm The midterm elections are going to be about this. So
no question.
Yeah. So we're going to do very well. All right. Let's see what else we got. We're looking for a Democrat who's against crime. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dave from Detroit, and when is the federal government going to recognize your tribe of retards that you belong to? I mean, you know, the retards that you are. Man, I can't.
Yes. Go ahead. Don't tell me you're out of material already.
Oh, no, I can't wait to go get one of those new Cracker Barrel restaurants and get some good food. Oh, it's the best food ever. The greatest food ever.
I think he's running out of material quick.
I love hearing someone die on the air. It's like the Joyce Kaufman show.
Exactly. It wasn't like this when we practiced in front of the mirror. You have a
question for you.
Not a brain surgery.
He's going to do. Now he's going to try. Watch. Now he's going to try to do something to make us hang up. Watch. Let's see how long you can go. Go on, caller. You're doing good.
I have a question for him. How does it make you feel that this guy is taking your show and taking it right into the dumpster with the lowest ratings in Florida? I mean, how does that make you feel?
Oh, you have access to the ratings? What ratings book do you have access to? I'm curious, Detroit. Can you tell me what the cum is for the third quarter hour and the second hour on Mondays? Could you look that up in the book? They don't. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I did not look at
that. Oh, you didn't look that. You got the book.
Yeah. Blah,
you
blah,
got
blah,
the ratings
blah,
book.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I know.
Retard. Are you done?
We're waiting for the good material to come out.
I was really looking forward. Do you know what the average cum is for the first quarter of the hour number 3 on Tuesdays? Can you go down there?
I'm sorry, you're talking thinking I care? No.
No, you said you had the ratings book. I thought we'd get the ratings book from you, since you were citing it a minute ago.
I'll email it to you.
You'll email it to you. No, why don't you just pull it out right now? You got to pull it up on your computer, Detroit. He's got the ratings book, Steve.
Right now.
You're working right now. Oh,
but
my
yeah,
goodness.
when I do change that,
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, unlike you know.
What else you got for
It was a nice weekend. About 2 days. It was a nice week. It was a great weekend. It wasn't
material.
2 days off.
Next time, prepare a couple of issues.
You bumbling, stumbling old man. Nobody wants to hear you, all right? Just go into your old retirement home and...
Yeah, I know. They're all tuning in to hear you. Dangle in the wind.
You sound like Trump or total retard.
How many times has he said retard? Very limited vocabulary. Oh, he hung up, Steve. He hung up. I did not hang up on him. He hung up. All right. Well, listen, right on time. We're late for the break.
Just when I was beginning to hate it.
He hung up on himself. I did not hang up. I would have kept him on till 9 o'clock. I mean, that was awesome. Oh, my goodness.
He's good.
All right. I'm going to put you on hold, Steve, and everybody on hold. We'll take a break and be back. All right. You there, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Okay, hold on.
Brian, are we off the air?
No. Everybody can hear you. Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on a second. Yeah, what's up?
No,
hold on. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'll call you after. Okay, I'll call you after. Hold on. Okay, you there? Okay, hold on. All right, we'll be back in a couple minutes. Oh, my goodness.
Coffee.
That guy from Detroit was in a panic when we didn't hang up on. Oh, my gosh. Okay, 1 minute.
Brian, are you there?
Yeah, we got 1 minute.
I don't think I still have you.
Can you hear me?
Barely.
All right, let me put you on hold. Hold on. Okay, how's that?
Better.
Okay. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Did I tell you the callers are off?
I got something for you.
Okay, what's that?
Well, I finally figured out, it appears that the Democrats are up the creek without a paddle, and it's a party that's never going to recover.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured out the answer to their problem.
Okay.
What they have to do, I don't believe they have the intelligence to figure this out, let alone the ability to pull it off in reality. But what they've got to do is start working with the Fed and sharing the glory as a winner.
Exactly.
I don't think they're smart enough to ever figure that out.
Well, I was talking about this earlier. When Newt Gingrich and the Republicans won in '94 with the Contract for America, it was very popular. I don't remember much about the Contract for America other than the welfare to work part of it. It's been a long time. It's been 30 years. But Bill Clinton, that was very popular, and the Republicans took over both houses of Congress, the House and the Senate, at the same time for the first time like in 30 years when that happened. And when Bill Clinton was running for re-election the next year for the 96 race, what he did, because as opposed to fighting these very popular things like welfare to work, he embraced them, and he made it his re-election campaign platform, was the Contract for America. And that was Dick Morris's advice to him, by the way. He was his campaign manager then, and he sailed into an easy victory as opposed to fighting these populist ideas. He made them his own. But we
all make jokes about how the Democrats are always on the wrong side of these 80-20 issues. That's how they get there. They're supporting the bad guys.
But the Democrats, Bill Clinton was a smart guy. And these Democrats today, they're a criminal party. It seems like mortgage fraud seems to be a big thing with Democrats. How many Democrats? They got Letitia, that idiot in California, the woman on the Fed board, mortgage, they're a criminal party, and they relate to these criminals, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it sure appears that way to me, but I don't think they're ever going to figure it out. These guys aren't smart enough.
But that's what you're exactly right. If the mayor of Chicago welcomed the help to rid the city of crime and was out there in the streets, he could take all the credit for it. But because
it's all ego. It's all ego. They won't let them welcome Trump.
Exactly.
They'd rather be on the losing side, lose elections, and attack Trump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Want to take some calls?
Yes.
All right. We've had a lot of strange people today. Let's see what happens.
You have.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Never Trumper Steve here, Palm City.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve, how are we doing today?
Good.
Steve, I got a fun fact for you. What do New Orleans, Memphis, Baton Rouge, and Jackson, Mississippi all have in common?
Oh. He's going to tell us they're Republican cities, I think, Steve.
Well, more than not so. Well,
I'm sorry. I blew his punchline.
You wanted a chance to shine, and you took it away.
Forget what I said.
And the crime rate. I'm talking about violent crime, murder. If we take Jackson for starters, they have 4 times the murder rate of Washington. Memphis 3 times.
Hey, never Trumper Steve.
Why are they sending?
One second. You're right. So what that proves is that party isn't everything. If there are people out there, albeit very few of you, who are smart enough to realize that party isn't the be-all and the end-all. That's all that means.
Right,
and it means you get a lot of
but it also,
a lot of stupid fellow Democrats who are not as smart as you are.
No, but if I lived in one of those cities and my governor was sending National Guard troops to Washington and not to keep them in my own city,
you're easily influenced and easily led, and I'm sure you're probably right.
You know, I'll tell you, never Trump or Steve. Listen, I've got something that's going to shock you. Donald Trump and Republicans, MAGA we want him to send the National Guard into Republican cities that are overrun with criminals
but he's not. He's got a list of Democratic cities only.
Chicago's the big one.
He's going in order of seriousness of the problem.
Correct.
So he's starting with
I
the
just
worst.
told you where this. No, I just told you where the seriousness is.
Worse than Chicago.
He's ignoring the worst cities.
Worse than Chicago.
You're not telling the truth.
The reason
He's ignoring the worst cities.
So what you're saying is the crime rates are higher in those cities than Chicago.
No, I'm saying higher than Washington for starters.
Well, slow down, Steve.
Yes.
Slow down, Steve.
Yes.
If the crime stats are higher in those cities than in Washington, all that tells us is these Republicans are honest with their crime stats as opposed to Bowser and these DEI hires they have in D.C.
Very good point.
So only the Democratic cities are lying about their cities.
Steve, what's your response
lying about
to them?
Say that again, please.
Pathetic.
Now we'll listen.
No, you're ignoring the You're ignoring the facts. His list is none of those cities, which are worse than any of the cities he wants to
I think we misunderstood what Never Trump or Steve is saying. Are you Never Trump or Steve? You want President Trump to go in all U.S. cities and federalize them then and end all crime everywhere? Is that what you're suggesting? That sounds good to me.
No, that was a nice try, Brian. That was a nice try. I'm saying before you worry about the cities on your list whose crime is way down from what it used to be, go to the 4 that I mentioned that are way up and more than any of those cities. That's what I'm saying. And if crime mattered to Trump so much, if he really was concerned about crime and not putting on a stunt, then on January 6th, he would have called in the National Guard instead of watching for hours the police heads being bashed in. That's what I would say.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, take care. Appreciate the call. Oh, my goodness. They always go back to January 6th, Steve. That's the
mind is a terrible thing to waste.
When they're out of argument, when they're losing, they inject either Epstein or January 6th, or Ghislaine Maxwell, which is Epstein, right? They bring up one of those two things. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Steve and Brian. Good morning. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Speak up a little.
Oh, I've got some breaking news, Steve. The Maryland man has been rearrested by ICE. He's in custody now, and he'll be on his way to Uganda.
We're to send him to the Congo or something.
Uganda, where Zohan Mamdani, who's running for mayor of New York, is at. Maybe Mamdani can meet him in Uganda.
Yeah, they can have another wedding. I was just going to say with Never Trump or Steve and his statistics.
Yes.
And that he's looking at, it's unfortunate,
Idiot.
but it's he's somewhat delusional.
Yes.
Because you're looking at statistics. The Democrats, their whole idea of statistics is, go in into the AG's office and those 1,000 felonies, downgrade them all to misdemeanors. And look, the Democrat model, we've solved all the crime. Or they just don't have any police and nobody gets arrested, therefore there is no crime. It's just delusional. But, the thing about Trump, what he's doing right now, to me, it's sort of like, we're talking mostly here Democrat cities. They're like the Wizard of Oz from hell. And Trump is like the wizard. He's pulling down the curtain and revealing the illusion because do you want the pit of hell of the Democrats, or do you want the joy of safety?
Well, see,
I would like to know from one of these. I'd like to know from one of these anti-Trump callers who they would like to see. What city they would like to see us go into.
Exactly. Another thing too. I was talking about this earlier, Steve. The Democrats, including the mayor of Chicago, have picked a bad week to say crime's down in Chicago. Labor Day weekend is this weekend, and that's always a big shootout weekend in Chicago. So it'll start on So it's going to be 80 murders by Tuesday.
Yeah, simple math is not the friend for the Chicago mayor. He said 7 arrests. Judge Janine, I saw her. She said there was 719 arrests in D.C. I don't know where that guy got 7, but look, and I heard you say earlier, Brian, it's basically going to red pill these cities, these voters, because you've got manufactured Democrat victimhood voters who are going to, from that pit of hell despair, they're going to cross over into like an actual, like a real rainbow of sunshine, hope, joy, and they're going to become inspired Republican, voters, because you can't lie to their own eyes, their own experience.
And if their leaders try to take it away from them, and when the leaders try to take it away from them, they are going to be pissed at the black leadership.
That's right. Hey, listen, we got a run, caller. I appreciate the call. Now, you were correcting me on my pronunciation of it's the percale sheet, Steve. Is that how you pronounce it?
Percale.
Percale. Now, I have these on my guest bed, and anytime I have the sniffles coming on, a cold or a flu, I don't want to make my wife sick, so I've slept with the percale sheets a few times. Steve, they're spectacular. They are so good. And the thing about the Mike Lindell My Pillow sheets, I have a whole bunch of sets of them. And like everything Mike Lindell makes, they're high quality. I can't tell what the original ones were and the most recent ones I bought were. Because, they've been washed I don't know how many times, but they always look like the day they arrived. It's amazing. But right now, there's a summer closeout sale going on the percale sheets. Any size, any color, just $29.88 with our promo code Kane. So that means twin, single, queen, king, split king, California king. All $29.88, regardless of the color, and they also have some different patterns, all the same. It's as much as a $90 savings for each set. And it's free shipping on all orders that equal $100 or more with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at mypillow.com. And there's huge deals. Go take advantage of that. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back.
Tonight, obviously, a fast-moving case. Abreu Garcia's lawyer says the government is, quote, weaponizing the immigration system against him. My question is, what's your response to accusations that you're weaponizing the immigration system, and will, in fact, Abreu Garcia soon be heading to Uganda?
He is absolutely going to be deported.
Okay. All right, Steve, you there?
Yes.
Okay, I got this clip of Tom Holman when we get back. Oh, this is going to be good.
What?
I'm going to play something when we get back of Tom Holman.
Okay.
He's talking about the Maryland man.
The Maryland man.
Yeah, the Maryland man.
I love it.
Okay. All right, I'm getting ready to come back.
Yep.
Okay, we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane here. I wanted to play this clip, Steve. This is just breaking. It's kind of going viral, so I'm kind of... The sound quality won't be the greatest because I'm playing it over my phone, but this is Tom Homan on Fox talking about the Maryland man that, that they're going to, that just got out of jail. He's back in custody. Listen, there we go.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Obviously, a fast-moving case. Abreu Garcia's lawyer says the government is, quote, weaponizing the immigration system against him. My question is, what's your response to accusations that you're weaponizing the immigration system? And will, in fact, Abreu Garcia soon be heading to Uganda?
He is absolutely going to be deported from this country. He's not going to walk the streets of the station, so he can enjoy the little time he has with his family. And for the person that says we're not going to separate family, his family can go with him because he's leaving. He's going to be deported. Look, he's a criminal alien.
He's leaving.
I love the
timeshare in Africa. I
yeah,
love it.
and well, Zohan has that compound over there. He's running for mayor of New York. He's living in Queens. He doesn't need the space. He can let the Maryland man's family live at his estate in Uganda.
I realized something. I realized as you were talking that there is one Democrat that has had the brains to do just what we're talking about, which is to switch sides and to, declare a win.
Really, I missed that.
And Fetterman. And he has become a pariah kind of in the party.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because that's because
he's practicing what I suggest.
Well, the reason he's done that is because Pennsylvania's gone red. And
I'm not getting into the motivation, but it's still the right thing to do. But it didn't have much effect on his fellow Democrats.
No, not at all. No, but that's why, because he's got to run statewide. But this, here's the thing. There are very, very few issues that are nonpartisan. But being against crime is a nonpartisan issue. That's something that universally is supported.
Should be. It should be, but it's not.
Well, with the elected Democrats, it's not. But I have seen interview after interview with people on the streets of D.C. that are happy that they can walk around.
Absolutely. And the more Trump stays in the various big cities and works a combined effort with the local authorities, the more popular that idea is going to become.
Yeah.
It's just whether enough of these Democrats have a skull thick enough to get through.
No, they don't. Well, they're in a panic for good reason, right? I mean, they know that their party's over. Their party is over. I mean, this is one. I know that jump the shark moment. It's hard to say because I don't think they're done going to extreme lunacy when it comes to their positions. But because, when you're the mayor of a city or a police chief and you're not celebrating that you've had over a week without a homicide, you're gone. Your mind's gone.
Well, you know why they don't want to give the credit to the police because then that puts them on the right side of the issue.
But Steve,
then they're on the right side of the crime issue, and they're uncomfortable there.
In these blue cities, the cops are mostly Democrats, and the chiefs too. So even though, like in D.C. as an example, the cops and the chief are mostly Democrats. And I saw President Trump when he was with the cops the other day. They looked very happy to be around him. These were Democrats that were smiling and excited.
Cops are going to be the first to recognize it.
Yeah, the police in D.C. are being red-pilled, magatized, I call it. They're being red-pilled. They're becoming MAGA. They see it. And another thing too is with the crime in these blue cities, D.C. and Chicago, everyone talked about it all the time, and everyone just had this attitude, well, there's nothing you can do about it. And what D.C. has shown is you can. And, one of the things about the D.C. crime cleanup, I was expecting confrontations between the cops, the feds, the army, and the thugs. I haven't heard about the thugs resisting at all in D.C.
And the longer it goes, the more cooperation you're going to see between the feds and the local authorities.
Yeah, there hasn't been any gunfights, any resistance. In fact, even with the arrest, I haven't heard or seen any instances where there was a major resisting of arrest. Nothing. The crime cleanup has been peaceful, and I think the reason that is not just because you got an overwhelming force.
The liberals' worst nightmare.
Yeah, you've got an overwhelming law enforcement presence that helps. But people in D.C., the community, the regular people, they're helping.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At first, the reason the law enforcement opposed it initially is because the feds, they felt, were making them look bad.
Yes.
But once you hop on the wagon and become part of the winning team, law and order is restored, and then let them try to take it away.
Well, in D.C., the local D.C. police are taking the lead. The federal agents are backup, and then the Army, even though they're armed, they're just there for appearance, right? They're just there in the background. They haven't done anything except be there, armed with their tanks and stuff. But the police are getting all the credit. The federal agents are just backup, just to have the presence. And this is community policing, because what I've seen in Washington, I haven't seen any high-speed chases or anything in police cruisers. I'm seeing police officers and federal agents walking the streets of D.C. making arrests. This is like that.
See if you can get some of these disaffected Democrats to comment on our idea.
Well, I'll tell you what. After the Gold Report, we'll take some more calls, and I would like to end the show with one Democrat caller who is opposed to crime. I'd like to hear one. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I wanted to talk about Lighthouse Medical and their neuropathy treatment. This is an amazing thing, because your doctor and your specialist will tell you there's no treatment for neuropathy. That's what yours told you, Steve. And that's not the case. Lighthouse Medical, they have a treatment for neuropathy that works. And what we found out over the course of time is it doesn't just work, it lasts. You had your treatment 3 years ago, and your neuropathy symptoms have not returned 3 years later.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, neuropathy is so uncomfortable, so painful, so disruptive. You're not worried about 3 weeks down the road. You just want the suffering to stop now. And we just found out you're kind of like a test patient, Steve, I guess, with us. It's like a medical test case study we've done. 3 years later, your neuropathy hasn't returned. That's amazing. So Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy that works, and it lasts. They can help you no matter where you're located in the United States as well. I'm going to give you the number. When you call Lighthouse Medical, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, I'm going to put you and everyone on hold, Steve. We'll come back with the Gold Report and some calls. All right, take care. Hold on. We'll be back after this. Yeah, hold on. All right, Steve, we got about a minute.
Am I going to hear the Gold Report?
Yeah, I want to conference him shortly. Okay, I'm going to conference William in. Hold on. All right, we have 30 seconds. Stand by. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. We're going to take our first look at gold, silver, and the other precious metals from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated. We have William Youngerman. How are the metals starting the week off, William Youngerman?
The metals are starting off a little bit lower after Friday's big gains. Friday, we saw gold trade in a range of $3,320 to $3,380 and closed up $33 on Friday at $3,370.30 the ounce. That on the heels of Fed Chairman talking about lowering rates finally. So that's pushing the market. Stock market made a big jump, and so did the metals. Silver was up 69 cents at $38.76 on Friday. Platinum closed up $8 at $1,362, and palladium was up $19 at $11.26. Overnight, we've seen gold trade in a range of $33.58 on the low to $33.73 on the high. Right now, we're at $33.66. That's just down $4.30. So we're down 16 cents at $38.60. Platinum down $17 at $1,345. And palladium down $14 at $1,110. So gold's doing very well, $3,366 right now.
Wow, that's a great time to buy gold. That's awesome. Guys, listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. And, you know, William, you do something that is absolutely amazing because you will buy back anything that you sell. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, for over 60 years now, we've been making a two-way market. And anything we sell, make guaranteed buybacks and the whatever the market is at the time. So you can bring it in. It's just as easy to sell it back to us, is maybe even easier than to buy it from us. So yeah. We definitely buy all of the precious metals. And, of course, if you have anything in worn-out jewelry or things that you're not using anymore, bring it in. We'll be glad to give all Steve Kane listeners receive a free appraisal.
That's right. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Or give him a call, 1-800-327-5010. That's 1-800-327-5010. And you can find both his address and phone number online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, wow, the metals are hot.
You know what I'm interested in?
What?
I want to know if there are any Democrats. We know we have a ton of Democrats that listen to the show.
Oh, yes.
But I'm interested if there's anybody out there in the Democratic, who's basically been a Democratic supporter that heard our potential solution to the problem for Democrats to get them off the hook of the worst collapse of polling that I've ever seen in the history of polling. If any of them realize that they've been given what I like to call the keys to the kingdom, that they can be a winner by switching sides, and I wonder if anybody out there is smart enough to take our advice.
You embrace President Trump ridding your blue city of crime. Take credit for it.
Rather than getting your brains kicked in with the losing side, join the winning side, and you look smart instead of stupid.
And we can't even get a caller to do that. You think you're going to get some Democrat elected? I don't know. All right, let's take some calls and see. Let's see what we got. We'll try. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Good.
I have you seen what's going on with Venezuela, on the coast of Venezuela? I mean, I think the Venezuelan people are hoping that President Trump does something and brings freedom back to the country.
No, what's going on?
What do you think about that?
What's going on off the coast of Venezuela? She hung up. She was telling us about Venezuela, and then they got rid of her.
That?
I have no idea. I don't know. They got to her phones. I don't know.
It sounded promising, but then
the line went dead. I don't know. I mean, that's unfortunate. All right.
And wanted to suppress our free speech.
I guess. All right, let's try another one. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian and Steve. This is Tony from Boston.
Oh,
Tony, how are you?
Long time no hear.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm not in Boston right now. I'm actually in Orlando, but I was in Washington, D.C. on this past Thursday. I had to come down to Florida for a convention at the Orange County Convention Center.
I'd be interested in your input.
What kind of convention was that?
That was the textile convention, the laundry business, whatever.
The laundry business.
That's,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what's on your mind, Tony?
I want to talk about Washington right quick. I was there that was the first time I was on the streets of Washington. I took the train down, actually. I didn't fly. And I walked from Union Station. I'm sorry, no, I took a cab from Union Station up to the White House, which is my first time ever visiting. And I believe President Trump was there.
Yep.
And but it was the people that were out there. I mean, it was just incredible. So I have no idea about Washington in terms of the dynamics. So I couldn't tell one way or the other. I just know that there was a lot of troops there, and people were just milling about, and it was just a large crowd there. So I mean, I welcome.
Those are our friends, the homeless.
I'm sorry?
I say those are our friends that you're talking about, the homeless.
And the fact that they hadn't had a homicide in 10 days straight, that's an incredible feat. But, you know, the Democrats profit off of crime. I mean, you have these organizations where they funnel these millions of dollars to in the name of, quote unquote, violence prevention.
Yeah.
And so that's where they're enriching these people. And the black politicians in particular, they love it because their friends and family are attached to their tentacles, and that's where they funnel this money. So they're enriching themselves through that scam, and so now you have this outcry again from that particular side talking about we don't need to have.
Well,
them
so
here.
let me ask you, Tony. You know, a couple things. You know, one, you said you went from Union Station to the White House this weekend.
No, that was on Thursday afternoon.
Okay, Thursday. Okay, so you said there were a lot of people there. When you went from Union Station to D.C., you saw a lot of military, but did it seem safe, or was there a lot of criminal-looking people around?
Well, I couldn't tell because I had never been on the streets of D.C. before. That's why I couldn't tell. Let me tell you this, Brian. I can answer that question this way. Listen, had there not been the crackdown as it is now, I wouldn't have never left that train station to go visit the White House.
That's for sure.
Say it that way.
That's for. Listen. I'll tell you this: the train station didn't smell like it did on Thursday before. It smelled like urine before.
Yeah, right. It was clean. Like I said, I had never been.
You know that smell. You know that smell that the homeless people have. That's so bad you can almost taste it. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's what it used to smell.
So these people that are. These people, especially these mindless idiots that continue to occupy and have residency on the Democrat plantation, some of your callers that call in and, you know, they have to just be the contrarian and follow the Democrat narrative. I mean, these are the same people who are locking their doors against these thugs out here and cowering in fear. So, listen, President Trump, up until this point, you know, he's doing a very good job. I'm happy with that. I'm not happy with the Israel thing, but I don't want to talk to you guys about Israel because I have to turn off. I've had to turn off talk radio since the bombing of Iran. I never thought I'd see this.
Yeah, but you
at least give Israel a chance to win.
Yeah, Tony.
And then we can talk about
and we're not hearing from. Hold on, it's Tony. Tony.
I'm with Iran.
Tony, we're almost.
On this one, and I hope Iran,
you're with Iran.
I hope Iran obliterates Israel. I hope Iran obliterates Israel.
Oh my gosh, you were doing so well. But I'll tell you this. Never heard that. I tell you, the calls are weird today, Steve.
Well.
Tony.
Nobody's perfect.
Tony, since Trump bombed Iran, we haven't heard too much about Iran pushing us around anymore, have we?
And we haven't heard Israel flying around anymore. They got their ass kicked really good, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, Ron. All right, Tony, we got it.
Ass kicked.
Okay.
Israel got their ass. Tel Aviv and Haifa has been
Oh, my
rearranged. The
goodness.
landscape looks good over there.
Oh, my
now.
goodness. All right, Tony.
Is that the nice guy we were talking to a few minutes ago?
Iran obliterates.
Okay, we heard you. You get these anti-Semites. They get on a roll. They get going. I mean, you hear the more he said obliterates, he kept getting excited.
Doing so well.
You know that the governor of Illinois, what's that? The Chris Christie of Illinois. What's his name? The fat guy.
Shoot.
I call him the Chris Christie of Illinois. But I'll tell you this.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The ugly one.
Yeah, he's trying to lose weight. He's not doing very well. He's yo-yoing all over the place. He needs to go over and talk to them at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And even though he's in Illinois, you don't have to be here locally to get to lose weight with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You can call them no matter where you're located. All this weight that I've lost, which is amazing, I've kept it off. I haven't gained a single ounce back. I'm not starving myself. I'm not exercising it. If I had to exercise to keep weight off, Steve, I'd be done. I'm not going to exercise. Are you kidding? You know? I'm not taking any pills, no shots, no injections, no nothing. And I'm eating foods I would normally eat, and I've kept all the weight off. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. My results, by the way, are typical, very typical, at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. Well, I'll tell you, this is the beginning of a great week. I just saw drop, Steve. President Trump is going to sign an executive order ordering the end of cashless bail in America. And,
oh, my gosh.
And if a city...
That means they're going to start locking up bad guys.
Can you imagine? Yeah. And cities that do not abide by it will lose all federal funding. So that's it. I mean, it's amazing. It's going to be a crime-free. This is why Trump 2028 for a third term is needed.
That's the whole point. What you're watching is his campaign.
Exactly.
For the midterms.
We can't change captains in the rough seas until we're out of them, and we need another term beyond this to get everything done. And signing an executive order ending cashless bail. First off, cashless bail, what the heck? I mean, when I first heard about that, I thought it was crazy. And then when that guy burned down the Fox News Christmas tree, he was there in person watching them light the one that replaced it. I couldn't believe it. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
I mean, you know, not being able to be home for dinner is a deterrent for crime, right? If people are going to, you know, be home by nighttime, there's no deterrent. And you know, the bail bondsman must really hate that cashless bail because there's no need for bail bondsmen. I remember somebody we knew got arrested. They were calling you up for bail money. Remember? Don't say the name.
Yes, I do.
Don't say the name. Don't say the name. I'm sure they've gotten on the right track by now. But you know, cashless bail encourages crime. Well, listen, it's been a great show today. What a great MAGA Monday. And the news we've been dealing with today is just the weekend news. But today he's signing the executive order, President Trump, ending cashless bail. So
can't wait to see. Can't wait till tomorrow.
Oh my
goodness!
goodness!
See if we converted any Democrats into law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, I know. I love watching these Democrats self-destruct. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless America. God bless our greatest and favorite president, the 45th and 47th president who's ridding America of crime, Donald Trump. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Take care, everyone. All right, we're out. Now, those of you in the chat, don't go. I'm going to continue on for a little while because I did not get to any of my audio sound bites. So if you want to call in, you're welcome to call in. I want to stay live for a little bit longer. And I want to get to some of the audio sound bites that I didn't get to today because there's some pretty good ones. Now, I did play this over my phone a little while ago, but I wanted to share this. This is Tom Homan. He was on Fox last night talking about Garcia, the Maryland man. Listen.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Obviously, a fast-moving case. Abrego Garcia's lawyer says the government is, quote, weaponizing the immigration system against him. My question is, what's your response to accusations that you're weaponizing the immigration system? And will, in fact, Abrego Garcia soon be heading to Uganda?
He is absolutely going to be deported from this country. He's not going to walk the streets of this nation, so he can enjoy the little time he has with his family. And for the person who says we're not going to separate family, well, his family can go with him because he's leaving. He's going to be deported. Look, he's a criminal alien. He's a member of MS-13, which is now a designated terrorist. He's a wife beater. He's a human trafficker. He's been indicted for human trafficking and alien smuggling. He's a bad person. He's not going to be here. He's been order removed twice. Order removed by 2 different federal judges. He's going to leave this country in the very near future, and his family can go with him. I can't see who was talking before, the sound bites, but whoever said we're taking advantage of broken immigration system, what do they do? What do those people do the last 4 years about this broken immigration system? They let 10.5 million people cross that border. Sex trafficking women and children, all-time high. Overdose deaths of fentanyl, all-time high. Number of terrorists, all-time high. They didn't do anything to fix it. President Trump is keeping his promise to American people to enforce the law, and that's what we're doing. We're making this country safer every day by removing people like Abrego Garcia.
Oh, man, I love Tom Homan, don't you? Oh, my goodness. He's the best. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. This is Matthew from Oklahoma.
Yep.
Yeah, Brian. I wanted to ask you really quick whether you're okay with Abrego Garcia not being held accountable for his crimes here in the United States and being allowed to be deported to Costa Rica.
Uganda. He's going to Uganda.
Right. But the deal the Trump administration has presented is if he pleads guilty, he can go to Costa Rica, and if he doesn't, he goes to Uganda. If the administration has evidence that he's guilty of these crimes, why are they not just punishing him here in the United States?
Well, because we want him out of the country. Because what will happen is some Democrat will let him out of jail. He's become like a I don't know, a hero of the liberal left, and we want him in jail in one of these other countries, so some Democrat doesn't just let him out.
That's a straw man. He's not being held as a hero.
Absolutely, they've raised I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars in the crowdfunding. They call him the Maryland man. I played a clip earlier of Margaret Brennan with the governor of Maryland saying, "What are you going to do to help his family? Why would you be helping the family of this guy?" No, there's no. They have made him a kind of like a martyr of the liberal movement.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. He's sort of just a symbol for constitutional rights and the due process.
He has been due process. This guy's been to court more times than anybody. I mean, he's had his due. Listen, there's different types of due process, and for different types of crimes and different types of people. Okay, and he's been due processed. How many times you want him to go in front of a judge until you get the result you like? I mean, think about that.
No, the point I'm making is that it's nothing personal with Garcia. People don't see him as a hero. It's about the abstract idea of constitutional rights.
You know, you liberals, now you'll deny that you're a liberal, right? But, you know, liberals hate the Constitution of the United States. And my entire life, what I've heard liberals say is this. This is what liberals say. Obama, the Constitution was written by white supremacists to maintain white supremacy. And now all of a sudden it's some holy sacred document to you guys? Come on.
I mean, the only person I've heard undermine the Constitution is Trump.
The only person? The only person. How's he undermined the Constitution? How has Trump undermined the Constitution?
The most recent relevant person to do so. With what happened in California.
What happened in California?
The LA riots. The governor didn't.
No, in fact, what he did. No, excuse me. No. The federal law enforcement, okay, you just don't know what happened in LA. That's okay. Federal agents have jurisdiction for federal crimes anywhere in the United States, in the U.S. territories, and on our military bases, by the way. So they were out there. The first wave of the ICE and the federal agents was enforcing immigration law. So far as the National Guard, the Immigration Detention Center and headquarters in Los Angeles was under attack, as were the federal officers in Los Angeles by your Democrat friends and illegals out there. They sent the military to LA to protect federal officers in the federal building. It wasn't to take over the city of Los Angeles.
No, I understand that, but the violation here is overstepping states' rights.
The states' rights. What are you, another Confederate? You know, what do you mean state? What state rights? To allow federal buildings to be attacked by foreign nationals? Because that's what was happening.
To allow the governor to have jurisdiction over his land, over his
the president has jurisdiction over all the land of the United States. We are not independent countries. We are the United States of America that is under the authority of the federal government, led by and the commander in chief in times of attack can federalize any soldiers. And the United States federal building, where the immigration offices were in Los Angeles, was under attack by illegal aliens. They were physically attacking the vehicles of the ICE agents, and they were attacking the building. And the Marines and others who were deployed to protect the federal building. They weren't down Sunset Boulevard or going through Hollywood. They were protecting the federal building and the federal agents there.
I understand that, but
then why do you? If you understand that, then why do you lie? All right, appreciate the call. All right, take care. Going around in circles with that guy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Steph, residing in Arizona right now.
All right, Steph in Arizona. What's on your mind?
Hi, Brian. Yeah, so I just want to let you know, first off, I enjoy your show. You crack me up so many times by how you put these anti-American libs in their place.
Thank you.
But what I wanted to tell you was, I believe every elected official, politician, their number one priority is to protect and defend the U.S. Constitution, which means the American citizenry. And the Dem Party now has turned into their priority, protecting criminals and illegal aliens all alike. Everything against the law-abiding U.S. citizen.
Correct.
And that is absolutely ridiculous. You know, that's like, if anybody's unconstitutional, that's the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
They're the unconstitutional.
You know what it is? You know, this is the thing. The number one responsibility of any government, local, city, county, state, federal, is to protect the citizens. And the local governments have failed in these Democrat cities.
Yep, that's right. That's right. I mean, can you believe it? Like, I hear these crazy stories of people just especially in these blue cities, they can't go out. And when they do go out, somebody gets mugged. I mean, to be mugged, sometimes it makes you disabled because you're so traumatized by that.
You know, I've been a crime victim more than once, and I've been the victim of violent crime. I had many years ago, I was stalked by a listener, and they were hiding in the bushes and attacked me, and they almost they almost killed me. I almost died. It was really bad.
Wow.
And it was a long time ago. But you know, when you're the victim of a violent crime, you never get over it. It's very traumatic, and you're always and that's why sometimes you'll hear me talk to some of these weirdos, and I say I press charges every time, no matter how minor it is. It's because of that incident. I would never let somebody get away with it. And I was watching one of I had one incident where I had a gun pointed, multiple guns pointed at me. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but it was, and that was, I almost passed out. People don't understand. And I saw a reporter over the weekend who had been mugged in D.C. and they stole her cell phone. But before they stole it, they had her, and on the face of it, well, my phone's locked. So what? They made her unlock the phone. And yeah, I know. And pretty much everybody, you have your banking there. Yeah, you have all your personal data. And a lot of these crimes don't get reported. And the reason they don't get reported is because they have all your... My mother got mugged when I was in high school. Her purse got stolen. And it had her driver's license in it. And I remember she was terrified because they knew where she lived. And she thought they'd come...
It's traumatizing.
So when they get your phone, they know where you live. They got all your contacts. They know where... They got access to your bank account. They've got access to all your passwords, to all your devices. Mugging isn't... It's always been bad, but it's at a whole nother level of violation than back in just the purse snatching days.
Exactly. I just feel like I don't know how any politician can be a Democrat today. If I'm a politician and I want to be your mayor or your state legislator, as a decent American who loves this country, I could not run under the Democrat ticket. Do you know what I'm saying? I just feel like the Democrat Party stands for anti-America. It's like they become a terrorist organization.
They've always been bad.
I'm sorry to say that, but it's just...
The Democrats have always been bad. I mean, they were the Confederates. They used to own black people, right? So they've always been evil.
That's right.
But Bill Clinton is a Reagan conservative compared back when he was running for compared to what they're doing now. What they're doing,
exactly.
what they've really become, if you think about it, they're anarchist, is what they become.
Yes. It's horrible. I mean, we need to. I don't know what Trump can do, but somehow they got to be getting rid of. I mean, I'm sorry to say that, because this America, to me, is the greatest country in the world, and we need to. This country has to survive. Mm-hmm. Because where are you going to go? There's nowhere to go.
That's right.
This is the best country in the world.
Mm-hmm. By far.
Yes, and we over here, our Constitution believe in individual freedoms. Mm-hmm. Individual liberties. No other country does that.
No.
This is the greatest country in the world, and it's almost like the Democrat Party is trying to destroy it.
The Democrats believe that every problem in the world would be solved if the United States did not exist. That's how they believe. I know it sounds nuts. It took me a long time to get my mind around. When I was young, I would hear Republicans say, the left or the hate America first crowd. And I never would believe that, because I'd say, well, they live in America. How could they hate the country? They just disagree with how things should be done. And then when I grew up, that was very naive. I realized they do hate America, and they're trying to destroy it.
Yeah. No, you're right, Brian. But I just want to let you know that I just enjoy your show very much.
Well, thank you.
I've never called in before, but I have been listening for I don't know how long now, maybe a couple of years. And
well, great.
I just enjoy it very much.
Well, thank you very much for your call. Take care. Yeah, so, by the way, if you notice, I'm going long now. I've expanded the show, if you haven't noticed. I started early. I'm going late. So make sure you guys are not only subscribed to the channel, but click the notification bell so you know when I go live on the program. I wanted to play this clip. This was Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and she's on CNN talking about Alligator Alcatraz over the weekend. Listen, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Democrat member of Congress from here in South Florida.
This is a complete mess that was a political stunt from the beginning that has had human rights abuses that are incomprehensible, that are absolutely harming the environment and really unraveling progress that we've made over 30 years to restore the Everglades. And at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we respect tribal lands.
Okay, now tribal lands. I was talking about this earlier. They're trying to hide behind this tribal. Miccosukee have only been a recognized tribe since the early 60s. They're not indigenous to Florida, okay? These are not tribal lands. Now, they do have an area that's the Miccosukee Indian Reservation. The only reason they have that is so they can have casinos. Okay, they got recognized by the federal government in the 60s. I've told the story a couple times, so I'm not going to tell it again. Just so they could have casinos and smoke shops and bingo like the Seminoles do. So they've only been a tribe since like 62 or 3, recognized by the government, the Miccosukee. This is not some ancient tribe of Indians who have their ancestors buried out in the Everglades. It's all lies. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a Florida girl. She knows this to be true, but don't let the truth get in the way of a Democrat speaking.
All the MAGA Republicans and Ron DeSantis care about is the abuse of human rights, because I mean, they have declared war on people of color.
Oh my goodness, they've declared war on people of color. That's what she's referring to as the deportations and the cleanup on crime. And so, what is she assuming? That all these violent criminals are black? I don't assume that, but she does.
Whether it's in education, the erasure of their history, with the efforts to whitewash the history of the Smithsonian museums, rounding up people with masked ICE detention centers.
And there's another one with the masks. First off, these Democrats were mandating masks. It was the law to wear a mask everywhere. Now masks are evil. People in masks are evil. I remember the day this was crazy. I made a YouTube video about this during the lockdowns. I go to the bank. I walk in the bank lobby. Everyone's wearing a mask. If I had gone to the bank prior to 2020, and I would think the place was getting robbed. And I saw the security guard remove a person from the bank who was not wearing a mask. Can you imagine? But now masks are bad, according to the libs.
Employees and kidnapping them, not giving them access to counsel. It shouldn't and doesn't have to be this way. It's outrageous. And Democrats are going to continue to push back, give voice to people who need to make sure that they get due process and that they are treated humanely in these detention centers.
Now, and the other thing, too, that this detention center, that Alligator Alcatraz, is some type of damage to the environment. This facility's been there for, decades. They're using an existing facility that was already there on the spot. It's been an airport with runways for decades. So it's not like they went out to the Everglades and built a whole new facility. They put some tents on top of the existing concrete and runways and blacktop. That's all they've done. Everything with the liberals is always a lie, isn't it? Now, if you'd like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link to my Patreon page in the description of the video. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes, okay? Also, you get access to a lot of exclusive things that I post nowhere else. My wife and I both post to my Patreon page things we post nowhere else. As an example, I did an undercover video yesterday at the local Cracker Barrel close to my house, and I made a video about that. And my undercover trip to Cracker Barrel is available only to Patreon supporters. So those of you that are Patreon supporters already, go and take a look at that video. But so you get access to all the exclusive posts and everything that are posted nowhere else, including videos and vlogs and whatnot. Commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes. And top Patreon supporters, you guys get your name up on the screen and everything too. And again, the link to my Patreon page is in the description of the video. And also, you can just go to the direct web address, which is patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. Patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. And when you do that, you're supporting all the content I bring to you, and it would be greatly appreciated by me. So thank you so much. And also, I started on Thursday, and I've continued. I've expanded the show. So make sure that you're subscribed and got the notification bell clicked. Because you'll get a notification when I go live in the mornings, okay? The live stream, I'm still going to have it say that I'm going live at 6 a.m., but I'll be coming on earlier. And as early as I can get on the air, I will every day. And today was 5:20. Okay, sometimes it might be 5 a.m., it might be 5:30. So click the notification bell and you'll get a notification when I go live in the morning. And I do take live calls, and we got some good calls early on this morning before the radio show began. My name's Brian Craig. This is Where MAGA Comes to Talk. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll see you on the podcast later today. Take care.